Hey, J-Bone Nation! Shaming of Jay. He's not a dopey dumb bitch. He gets laid. The court jester, the court DJ. It's time to dive into the case. To the case.
What is up, everybody? Good morning.
Good morning, Vietnam. What's up, man?
What's going on, Bob?
Oh, living the dream, dude. Just living the dream. Another exciting
Day
day
4.
yesterday. Day 4 of the trial, man. I think they're going to be wrapping today. I was trying to think. I was going to ask you, have they put on the evidence for, basically their consciousness of guilt stuff with them, trying to go on the lam? Have they put that on yet, or is that so that might need to come on?
I think they put maybe a little bit of it with the texts, with the guy who was like going through the text. But someone who's in the chat did they do? I feel like they touched on it a little bit, but not a ton. But maybe I'm wrong. So we'll see.
Because I'm trying to figure out what else they still need to put on. You know what I mean?
Well, I know Dizzy said the student might be a witness who was in the bathroom with Ethan. So
yeah, she was texting me that last night that she thought that that student, because they didn't do autopsies apparently, and the student would be what they call a proof of death witness. It's like I was telling you, in order to prove that element of, that a human being lost their life, they have to put on what's called proof of life witnesses that can testify, yes, this person was a living being and, they were here in this world. And then they have to put on also proof of death witnesses, both. So, and you'll see those in every homicide case, proof of life and proof of death witnesses. So the student may in fact be coming on to testify as to that. That's what Diz thought it would be, but which makes sense, especially if they didn't put anybody on to for proof of death witnesses, which is typically a medical examiner or whoever performed the autopsy.
Right. Well, I'll say this, and I don't know if you've been on this, you've seen this, Bob. I've been getting for the last couple of times I've streamed trials, I give like trigger warnings. I say, hey, just give you a heads up, like this might. So particularly with this witness, if there's the kid in the in the bathroom, it's going to be like triggering. And I tell people, take a break if you have to, go somewhere else. We want you to take care of your mental health. And then people are like, only in America could you have to give a trigger warning on a case that's about like murder. I'm like, relax. I'm just telling people that like people get mad over that. So,
there's all kinds out there, Jay. There's all kinds out there, Jay. Yeah, it's and we'll never not stop giving trigger warnings because we're considerate people. I mean, this stuff is tough for some people. I mean, I'm obviously somewhat, I wouldn't call it numbed to it, but I am. Hey, Joanne, thank you. She said she can't believe I made it 2 mornings in a row. I'm up and out, man. Like I'm dealing with like kids and family, but sometimes I will come home and re-nap because I have a feeling Jay's in bed by like 10 o'clock at night,
Oh, I've
sleeping
been
like a little
early.
angel.
That's late. That's like 9:30. I mean, just depending on what's going on. But yeah, like by the time, and I've said this before, people don't realize, and I'm not trying to equate this, doing this to like a physical or manual labor, but like after you, and I'm sure you could attest about it, if you've been on like streaming, even though it's like for like 8 hours or whatever, like you get like exhausted. Like it's a
Oh
different
man.
kind. I'm not trying to compare it. I know there are much tougher jobs.
Yeah, we're
Don't get
not
me
out
wrong.
there digging ditches, dude, but like in terms of this is a job just like any other job. And for us to kind of be on for 6 to 8 hours in a day is exhausting. Like not
Yeah.
physically, but
Right.
mentally and just I mean, I don't think we need to apologize. I mean, this is work. I think
Yeah.
that the people that are kind enough to grace us with donations and being so giving understand what we put into this just as a general rule, man. It's a lot. I mean, so and that's why we're so appreciative that people appreciate that this is a job for us and we're trying to
Facts.
to produce good content and I think that we do a pretty decent job at it, man. So
Speaking of
um
Bob, I don't know if you heard this. This Friday, I got to start checking because I got my notice for jury duty. So I was saying the other day,
oh
this,
yeah.
first of all, I was saying
Yeah.
two things. Two things. One, I am not one of those people like, oh, I want to do jury duty. I don't want any part of it, and especially now because if I'm not streaming, I'm not making money. Like you said, this is my job. But secondly, Bob, this will be the first time in my adult life where I go. Normally jury duty, like I knew I was going to get picked because I go in there. I'm an litigation examiner of 18 years. Particularly, the last time I went, it was a med mal case, and I knew the firm that was the defense because they handle cases for me. So I was out. Now this is going to be the
Right.
first time I have to go and be like, are they gonna ask me what I do? I'm like, I'm a content creator. Like, it's gonna be weird for me to have to like explain. Like, I watch court cases. They're like, what are you talking about? Like, it's gonna be kind
Right.
of weird for me to have to explain
That's
that
it's
for the
gonna
first
be
time.
great. I hear what you're saying, but yeah, I mean, I guess it depends. Because like going into jury duty, you never know. You never know if you're gonna be on a criminal case or a civil case. I mean, sometimes like in terms of like where I practice primarily like in Kane County, it depends on what building you go to. So if you're going to what we call the old courthouse, it's going to be civil because that's where they handle all the civil cases. And if you go into like the kind of the main building, the new building, it's going to be criminal, but it could be anything. I mean, theoretically, you can get called on a misdemeanor. Somebody's deciding to bring a misdemeanor all the way to trial, which is
Right.
kind of rare, but it happens. Yeah, it's like, have you done jury duty before? I mean, like, if you
I've never
served,
done
like,
it.
got picked?
No, I've never picked. I've never been on a jury.
I don't think you'd hate it, dude. Like, I think you'd actually enjoy the experience. I get it's a massive inconvenience in terms of your livelihood, as it is for everybody. I mean, that's always the thing that people are like, I can't miss a week of my life.
Think
It's
about
like
Delphi.
I
How long is
oh
that
my
going to be?
god.
Where they gotta be away from their not fully, but like away from their jobs at the very least
Dude,
for like
like
a month
yeah,
or
any
longer.
any major trial that goes anywhere from like 3 to 5 weeks is like a major imposition on people's life. I mean, there's no way around it. I think ultimately, if you talk to those jurors, like in a, that go through these experiences of like being, picked on a major trial, that they probably wouldn't trade it for the world because it's such a, there's just like in that kind of situation, it's almost surreal. You know what I'm saying? Like there is
Yeah.
like it, like you're sucked into this whirlwind of a case that's like super high profile, and it as a juror, but like you're admonished that you can't watch anything about it, and that everything's swirling around you as the jury. And I think that if you asked them, I think to probably a person, everybody be like, yeah, it was kind of like it was a once in a lifetime experience. There's like nothing else like that. And from the attorney's perspective, it is such an important civic duty. Like I like when I'm like thanking a jury, it like is truly from the bottom of my heart because what you realize in very short order is that jurors take it no matter what they say, like if I were to play this little video for you, like if you got picked for jury duty, like after the fact, and say, "Oh, remember when you said this, Jay?" And you're like, "Yeah, fuck, I don't want to do it. I got shit to do. I got to stream. I can't be like, I think you'd probably be like, yeah, man, it was a pretty amazing experience because, like, no matter what the case, like you get kind of like sucked into the minutia of whatever it is. You get sucked into the story because you've got the two battling narratives. Like, obviously, as a former like adjuster, you'd be like, you don't want civil. I mean, since your game is true crime these days, I'm sure you'd much prefer to be in kind of like a fascinating criminal case. But
Yeah.
nonetheless, like I was always just blown away by like how, really into the duty that the jurors would get. You could just tell that they were really paying attention and that they were taking the duty seriously and that, they really took it to heart. And it's just it's a cool experience, man. So like I'm kind of rooting that you get picked, but for your personal side of it, obviously, and professional side, I get it. But I just think you'd enjoy the experience.
What's the longest case that you tried? Was Garcia the longest case that you tried, or have you tried
Oh
longer
yeah.
cases?
No, by far. I mean, like a typical, like say like a class 1 or class X felony, like just an attempt murder case, or I mean, like those will typically go anywhere from like 5 to 7 days, like business days. You know what I'm saying? So like Garcia went 5 weeks. So it was a long one, and it was one of those cases where we had to move out to Omaha, like I had to rent a house and we had our whole team in there, and it was, that whole thing from the lawyer side of it was just a lot, and it's I mean, and when you're on trial as an attorney, like everything else falls to the wayside. It's like you're not thinking about anything that you normally would, your family, like any other responsibilities, any other cases, it's all gone because you're so trying to prep, because like we don't know if the state's playing nice with the defense and letting them know who they're going to call coming into it. Like in
Right.
Garcia, we had no idea. And they had a witness list of 150 people. So every
That's
day was
insane.
like a guessing game, and I'm like, we don't know who they're going to call. And I'm trying to prep, cross examinations, and you obviously have an idea what they're going to, like what the witnesses are going to get into, but you still want to try to prep your crosses as much as possible and know
Right.
who's coming. But the state has no obligation to tell us, the order in which they're going to put their witnesses on. So, all right, day 4, let's go.
Thank you. Good morning, Mark Peace on behalf of people.
Karen McDonald on behalf of the people.
Good morning, Your Honor. Marielle Lehman on behalf of James Crumbley, who is standing to my left.
I just want to make sure you can you hear us, Mr. Hunt?
Yeah, she was fixing his collar.
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Okay, ready for the, who's the next witness?
Detective Adam Stoya.
Another detective. All right.
Yes, sir.
By the way, folks, just a reminder, I try to keep the bottom ticker updated with if you ever come in late to the stream with whoever is on, if you're ever curious.
Jay's taking care of business for y'all. Yeah,
Also,
I have to say, both the Crumleys they have very greasy hair in both trials. Like neither of them seem like they shower. Like he's got jail hair, what I call jail hair. You can just tell, like he doesn't have like freshly coiffed butter right there. You can tell it looks a little greasy.
Freshly coiffed butter.
Yeah, it's just not there for him. Oh my God, Shannon brought the thumbs. I thought we decided it was those. Aren't we going with those, Jay? I thought we voted on those.
I feel like we should I could do a poll. Both are good. I feel like it's interchangeable.
I mean, thumbs is funny, but it makes no goddamn sense.
That's true.
Those at least make sense.
That's true.
All right, the detective. Let's see what he's got to say.
Would you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth to help you God?
I do.
All right, please step up. Have a seat. And then would you state your name for the record, spell your first and last name?
Adam Stoyak, ADAMSTOYAK.
YEK.
Oh, look at that tie, Jay.
Thank you.
He's like, I guess I'll wear
Before
the
we get
silver one.
started, we're gonna see if we
He's got
can-
4 ties on the tie rack. He's like, I guess I'm gonna go with the silver one. He's got like a pink shirt on. It looks like a very,
There's two on there. Is
maybe
that-
a light mauve. Where's Shannon when we need her?
This is tougher. She can't watch this one. She
It's a tough case, dude.
yeah.
What is that?
Thanks everyone for being here. Good morning. Good morning. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already. You probably have, but
Yeah, good morning, you guys. Shiraz, like, no, there's no rules about dropping info about the case. It's not in evidence. We're not the jury. Give us the inside dope if you got it.
This sort of turned out too, so. It's yellow, it's not red, it's not.
Jay, I think you should put Mia Bito's comment up. I have large, skinny feet, and my toe is attractive, yet larger than some of people's thumbs.
Defense.
The more you know. Thank you, Mia. That is, it's, you know, look, I shared that I have Fred Flintstone's thumb for my toe. That's, you know. What's up, Donnie?
Thank you. Okay. Sir, if you didn't already state and spell your full name.
Adam Stoyak, ADAMSTOYEK.
Thank you, sir. And how are you employed?
I'm a detective of the Oakland County Sheriff's Office. I'm assigned to the city of Pontiac.
Okay. How long have you been a police officer?
12 years, right around 12 years.
And how long have you been a detective?
Right around 4 years.
Okay. You said you're assigned to Pontiac?
Yeah, the city of Pontiac substation.
Okay. Now, I want to direct your attention to November the 30th, 2021. Do you remember that day?
I do.
Okay, were you working?
I was.
We heard testimony yesterday regarding a search warrant at 112 East in Oxford, the Crumbley family home. Did you participate in that search warrant?
I did.
Okay. Now, if you could tell us, please, what happens when a house is secured for a search warrant?
Yeah, so securing a house prior to getting the search warrant, you're going to go initially just kind of do an initial sweep of the house to make sure no one's inside the house. No one's injured inside of the house. And then after that, you're just going to secure the house until you get the authorization from the judge, just for like preservation of evidence and make sure that if there is evidence inside the house that it's not tampered with.
Okay, and did you do that in this case?
I did.
And who else was with you?
Detective McPherson, Detective Steele, Detective Peschke, Deputy Zajac, Deputy Mozak, and Fred Brandon was there too.
From the ATF?
Correct.
Okay. And when you were sent to that location, did you know what would be found there?
No.
Okay. And when were you assigned with this task?
After we initially searched the school, my supervisor at the time was Sergeant Hicks. He gathered a few of us up and said to go to 112 East Street, secure the residence.
Okay. So you responded to the school first, and then you were tasked with securing the residence at 112 East in Oxford?
Correct.
Okay. I'm going to show you what's been admitted as People's 270. Sir, is this a photograph? This photograph fairly inaccurately depicts the address at 112 East?
It does.
Okay, describe the layout for us of the home.
Yeah, so it's when you walk in here, that's the front of the residence that faces East Street. Walk in to your immediate right, there's a living room area with a couch, there's a TV. You walk into the left, it was like the dining room, there was a table, chairs. Through that, there was a kitchen. Off the kitchen, there was 2 bedrooms, one on the right, one on the left, a bathroom.
I'm going to show you what's been admitted as well as 205. Is this a sketch of the home?
Correct.
Okay. And so we have a front entrance at the top of the diagram here.
Correct.
Okay, can you just walk us through here?
Yeah, so where the sheriff's emblem sign is there is the front of the residence. You walk in, this would be on the left of this picture here is the living room. There's some couches, there's a TV stand, a table. To the right there of that was the dining room. There's like a kitchen table, some chairs. I think there's some workout equipment in there. Past that, there's a little opening right there which led to the kitchen, refrigerator island, some cabinets. So right there to the left would be the entrance. There's a little hallway to 2 bedrooms. There's 1 bedroom That's north bedroom. There's a bathroom between that, and then across the hallway there was labeled middle bedroom. Was the bedrooms, and then you come out of there. There was a little hallway. There was an opening to like the landing that led to the basement, the foyer, and then it was what was the master bedroom was immediately past that.
Okay. Now, prior to participating in the search of this home, did you learn which bedrooms were associated with the shooter?
I did.
Which one?
So in this picture here, you'd see north bedroom was one of the shooter's bedrooms, and then directly across the hallway, which is labeled middle bedroom, there was also the shooter's bedroom.
Okay, so his rooms were, what we have labeled here is north bedroom and then middle bedroom. Both are adjacent to the bathroom, and middle bedroom is adjacent to the master bedroom. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now tell us, when you first entered the home to secure it for a search warrant, did you see anything of note?
Yeah, so obviously when you're kind of just doing the search, but you're obviously still, if you see things, you take a mental note of what you see. And when I walked into what I was described as the master bedroom, there was an open 6-hour gun box on the bed, and next to that was an empty box of 9mm ammunition on the
Okay.
bed as well.
Did you touch that?
I did not know.
Okay. So when you see something like that, what do you do?
You just kind of take a mental note of it. And obviously, once you get the authorization from the judge and the search warrant, you're going to go search the house. And my partner and I were tasked with searching that bedroom. So
Okay.
we were aware before we came in.
So after the home was secured and you confirmed that, well, first of all, when it was secured, did you encounter either James or Jennifer Crumbley?
I did. I had a brief encounter with James Crumbley.
Okay, is he in court today?
Yes.
Can you please point to him and describe something he's wearing?
He's wearing the suit with the blue shirt and the blue tie.
Your Honor, with the record reflect identification defendant.
The record is so with that.
Tell us where you encountered James Crumbley at when you arrived on scene.
When I initially got there, he was secured in, I don't remember who, Deputy Mozak or Deputy Zajak's patrol vehicle.
Okay. Now, if an admitted video of a patrol video indicated 2:46 p.m. arrival on November the 30th, 2021, does that seem right to you?
Yes,
Okay. Did you speak with Mr. Crumbley?
I did.
Okay. Did you speak with him on scene there or when he was transported to the substation?
So I had a brief conversation with him prior, or at the substation, really nothing of note. And he was taken back to the residence, and that's where I had more of a, not in depth, but more of a conversation with him outside of the residence.
Okay. So I'm going to show you and play what's been admitted as People's 300. This is the in-car video that you referenced. Thank you.
Crank the volume. Uh-oh.
Why is she in handcuffs? Can you take the handcuffs off from her, please? Okay, plug in first. It's not gonna be long for those handcuffs, I promise.
Why am I in the cuffs though? It hurts, like it really hurts.
Hold on, what's that?
Why am I in your cuffs?
I don't know. I don't know. I asked them the same fucking thing.
They didn't do anything.
That's the problem. That's exactly the problem.
It's September, the song, you hear it? That's what I'm focusing on.
I'm getting claustrophobic.
Honey, don't freak out in front of the house.
What are you talking about? Earth, Wind, and Fire, September?
Yeah. Yeah, you hear it?
Oh, yeah.
Of course, that's what I focus on.
Woo!
Why are they here?
I love Earth, Wind, and Fire, Jay.
It's a great song.
It's a great song.
Okay, push my glasses in. I'll put the jacket on my lips. I have my fucking phone.
Can you push my glasses up? Thank you,
Why
James.
are I'm so confused.
Why are you?
We didn't do anything. That's what she said when she got tossed in the
Oh.
back there.
My God, Brooklyn just, I hope we don't get a copyright for that.
Oh,
I
no
hope we-
shit. That
I
would
didn't
be
even think about that.
unbelievable.
Set it down and then I have a cop coming to get it.
That would be crazy.
Why are they in our house?
Oh, my Lanta. I mean, it'll be a claim, but that was got me in trouble last time.
So confused.
She's confused, Jay.
It is kind of confusing that she's cuffed and he's not. Like, why was
Right.
he not? But she is. But
you know,
why they're there
and
is not. I don't think it is.
she was probably more mouthy.
Well, yeah, that could be.
Like when you irritate the cops, you know, she was
That's a
probably
great
real
point.
mouthy, and he was probably like, "Oh, okay, what you know, what are you bringing us? What's going on, man?" Well,
Yes,
we're
it
gonna
very
need
much
you to come
seems like
with
that.
us, sir. Yeah, and she was probably getting a little, you know, upset and you know, what the fuck's going on? What are you doing?
Why have we got to do this?
I wonder why that. Like, what are they? I guess they're still going to say something. Did they show this during the first trial?
I do not remember seeing this, but I missed a couple of days of the state's case in chief on Jennifer's. I really started streaming that one in earnest when she came on to testify.
They did. They're saying. So I wonder if they say something here that why they're playing.
I mean, are we thinking that the cops are like jamming out to Earth, Wind, and Fire?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's rare to hear music in a cop car.
I've yet of all the cars that I've seen, they're not listening to music. Donna
That's what I'm
Adelson
saying.
will not
Like, ever.
Oh, there's Patrick. Like, what do they think? Patrick's going to bust them out or something?
Yeah. Hey, we're already here. Free us. She looks substantially thinner.
Yeah, she was way. Holy jeez, lady, what do you think Patrick's going to do? Bust you out of the fucking car? Out that way?
See, now we know why she was cuffed. You know, I mean, like
Yeah.
that's the shit that was going on when, you know, they came busting in the house.
I will say, at least its music was pop. There's been a couple trials I've watched. Melly was one of them, and I forget what the other one was. And they were playing like a documentary. They were playing like a movie clip, and it completely shut down the stream, including the long crime stream. That's how like the copyright grabbed it and shut it down because like the movie.
Wow. Holy shit. That's a bit of a glitch in the system.
All right.
Okay, so that timestamp was 2:50 p.m. on November 30th. Does that appear right to you?
It does.
Okay. Now, you said James was transported to the substation and taken back?
Yeah, there's a lot going on. So initially, we were kind of instructed to take James to the substation and interview him. After a conversation with, I believe, Sergeant Bryan, it was determined that he had already spoken with detectives prior to us getting there, so he was taken back to the house while we were waiting for the search warrant to be completed.
Okay, so we heard testimony in this trial that Sergeant Bryan began that interview at 1:58 p.m. And this occurred after that, is that right?
Yeah, it was after the initial interview.
Did you have some conversation with James about obtaining a search warrant for the home?
Yeah, I had a brief conversation with him.
Okay. Did you let him know you were looking for firearms?
I did, yes.
And would that conversation have been recorded on the in-car video system as well?
Yes.
I'm going to show you.
Oh boy, let's see what's on this time.
For you. Is it 2:04?
Listen, man, that guy's silver tie though.
3:42
Like, you
p.m.
could go into a store and buy a tie. Like, trying to figure out what situation he would have been in, like Men's Warehouse, and be like, you know what? I'm gonna fuck with this silver tie because you know.
James, you have my middle name too? No, what's your last name? Crumbley, Crumbley. What's your phone number?
6483. Ooh, that high pitched sound is not pleasant.
Can you please search warrant, okay? So what we're gonna do is you guys, obviously, while we're waiting to go into the house, we can't have you guys go back in right now, just wait till we get the search warrant. So you're more than welcome to either sit in here, you're more than welcome to get in your car and hang out until this is done. You're more than welcome to go get a cup of coffee if you want or something, but it's probably gonna be a little while. So it's kind of up to you, but while we're waiting for that, we just ask, obviously, please don't go sit inside the house while we're waiting for everything to be done, okay? In the meantime, can you tell me where those guns are so you don't have to rip your house apart? Is that cool?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. They're in a gun case. It's-
We're at the house.
And if you go to the very back of the very back of the house.
Where like the husky was sitting?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and he's nice.
Yeah,
Never
no, he's
choose.
nice.
So then you guys can just be cognizant of the doors. We have cats.
Okay.
Okay. But if you go into that back bedroom, there's a dresser on the left with the TV sitting on it.
Yep.
The very right cabinet door.
Okay.
Inside of there's a black gun case that's
Okay.
locked.
Okay.
And then there's some 20. There's only a 20. There's a 22 Derringer.
Okay.
And a 22 Keltec
It's locked.
pistol. The case is locked.
How would we get into that? Do you mind if we get into that?
I mean, if you absolutely have to.
Is it got like, what kind of, is that a combination on
It's
it?
just
Or?
a combination.
Okay. Do you mind if we, because we're gonna have to get the guns obviously for now.
Yeah.
Do you mind if? Otherwise, I don't want to have to, you know what I mean? Just-
No, I'm completely open, and I want you guys to do what you have to do. I mean,
0,
0, 0, 0,
3 zeros.
4. And that's the only. Oh, okay. And then in the bedroom to the left of the bathroom,
Okay.
there is a BB gun.
Okay.
It's unloaded,
Okay.
but it looks like a freaking assault rifle.
Okay.
It's one of those
AR-15.
well, it's not AR-15, it's something different, but it's one of those air cartridge
Yeah. Oh, I got it.
BB guns.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay.
But that's just sitting out. So don't freak out when you guys see that. It's not
I
a,
appreciate that.
yeah.
Are you gonna want to hang tight, or what are you guys gonna want to do?
Well, I mean,
Want to do? Okay. Do you want to go with your wife then?
yeah.
Okay.
Am I?
You know, sir, you talked to Sergeant Ryan earlier?
Yes.
Okay. He's gonna call you when you guys are able to come back, okay?
Okay.
Fair enough?
I'll need my phone back.
So backing up just a little bit, can you tell us why Jennifer Crumbley was in cuffs?
Yeah, there was multiple, there's a few detectives, there's deputies on scene. I didn't take part in placing her in handcuffs. That would have been up to the deputy that put her in
When
handcuffs.
the deputies arrived, were coming right from the school, is that right?
Correct.
Okay. Just now in this interview with James Crumbley in the back of the car, he told you the combination code was 0, 0, 0, 0. 4 zeros, is that right?
Correct.
Did you subsequently recover that safe?
I did.
Is it 4 zeros or 3 zeros?
It was 3 zeros.
Did you come to learn what the default code is for that safe?
It's 0, 0, 0.
Now, what did you find inside that safe?
Yeah, so inside the safe, there was a 22 Keltec handgun and a 22 Derringer, which is like a single shot handgun, was inside of the safe when it was opened up.
Once the search warrant was officially authorized by the judge, did you participate in the search of the home?
I did.
And there are actually 2 occasions on which detectives entered the home with authorization from the search warrant. Is that correct?
Correct.
So once was November 30th, the evening of the shooting, and their time was December the 13th?
Correct.
Okay, both 2021.
Correct.
All right, I'm going to take you through some photographs of the home. First of all, prior to a search warrant being executed of somebody's residence, are photographs taken?
They are.
Are they taken before or after the home is searched?
Before.
Okay. So any photograph received from November the 30th of 2021 was taken before the room was searched by any detective?
That's correct.
This is exhibit 249. Tell us what we're looking at here.
Yeah, so the initial picture, that's the front door of the residence, right? When you walk into your immediate right, there was couches and a TV in the living room area.
So I'll try to take us through the home as you would walk through it. So we have the door in the frame here.
Correct, that's
Okay.
the front door that faces East Street.
That's the front door and living room, okay? This is 250, what is it?
It's just a wider angle, that's the couch that we saw in the initial picture, and the other couch that would be facing the front door.
Okay, so if you step into the front door and you turn to your right, this is what you'd be looking at?
Correct.
All right, this is exhibit 251, what is this?
Yeah, same thing, right, when you walk in the front door, this would be to your immediate right, and kind of straight ahead, there's just the couches and then a chair, table.
Okay, here's 252, again, we see the front door.
Yep, so that would be, now you'd actually be facing the front door, that was just the TV stand, which had the TV on it towards the front door.
Okay, and you told us that there was the living room and then in the same area, you described a dining room?
Correct.
Okay. This is exhibit 272, what do we see here?
Yep, so that was the dining room, it was some Christmas decorations, dining room table.
And this photograph was taken on December the 13th, 2021.
Yes, this was not the night of.
So this is if you walk in the front door and you turn to your left, is that right?
Correct, yep, you walk in, and your immediate left would be this.
And here's 273, what do we see here?
Yep, so that'd be when you walk in, to the right was the living room, to the left was the dining room, and directly ahead of the dining room was the doorway that leads to the kitchen, which you can kind of see in the background there is the kitchen.
Okay. Here's 274.
Yep, so this would just be a picture of the kitchen, the island, the refrigerator, and as you can see further down in the picture is the door to the master bedroom.
Okay, so this would be if you step towards that hallway, towards the kitchen?
Correct, yep, you're exiting the living room, there's that little doorway, and that's gonna take you right into the kitchen area.
Okay, we'll talk more about the kitchen in a few minutes. First, I want to take you through one of the shooter's bedrooms identified as the middle bedroom. Okay, this is exhibit 206. What do we see here?
Yep, so that would be, there's a hallway, there's a bedroom to the left, bedroom to the right. This is the bedroom to the left, which is the middle bedroom. That was right when you walked in the bedroom, there was a bed with various belongings on it. And then on the wall, you can see some shooting targets, or targets.
Okay, as a police officer, you've been to a shooting range before, is that right?
Correct.
Okay, these are the type of targets consistent with what you obtained in a shooting range?
Correct.
Okay. And this photograph was taken November the 30th, 2021?
Yes,
This is exhibit 207. Are we in the same room?
same room, just off the bed there was that desk with a TV, things all over the floor. That was the natural state of the bedroom we got in the house.
When you say natural state, that's before the detective searched it.
Yeah, correct.
In this plywood right here, can you tell us about this, please?
Yeah, so that part of the bedroom actually leads, that would have been a window that would have gone to the master bedroom. I believe the master bedroom was probably an add-on. So that would be a window that would lead you to the master bedroom.
Okay, so we're making sure we're oriented. This middle bedroom is adjacent to both the master bedroom on one side and then the bathroom on the other.
Correct.
Okay. This is exhibit 208. Is the same room from a different vantage point?
Same room, yep, just another little dresser there, the closet on the left.
Okay. Exhibit 209.
Same thing, just the various things on the floor, clothing, the chairs, same bedroom.
And exhibit 210.
Yep, same bedroom, just kind of an outer shot that shows the whole bedroom there.
Sir, as a detective, tell us why it's important for someone to capture the natural state of something from different angles.
Yeah, so I mean, when you conduct a search warrant, obviously you want to be cognizant of the fact that that's someone's house. You don't want to tear the house up, but I mean, you're going to go through the house and things are going to get moved around. Do your best to clean up afterwards, but when you want to, the picture of this can show you what the house looked like right when you walked in. Nothing was changed and what the livable conditions were when we got there.
Okay. And is that also why you would take multiple pictures of one bedroom just from different angles?
Correct. Yeah, just so you could get a full shot of what was actually going on inside the bedroom.
This is exhibit 211. Is this also the middle bedroom?
That is, yep, it's the closet in the middle bedroom.
Exhibit 212, same closet?
Same closet, you can see there in the bottom on the chair was the butt of the, which Mr. Crumbley described as like the rifle style BB gun.
Okay. We'll get to that in a second. This is exhibit 213. What do we see here?
Yeah, those are the targets I described earlier. They're visibly been used. They had bullet holes in them, multiple bullet holes in both of them. That was on the wall right next to the bed, the shooter's bedroom.
This is exhibit 214.
Yeah, same thing, just a different angle. That's the bed to your far left, and then the used shooting target on the top right corner.
If there were any other posters or pictures on the wall, that would have been depicted in the photographs of detectives. Is that right?
Correct.
This is exhibit 215.
There's a picture of the bed. There's clothing, some school books, there's a knife on the bed there. There's tons of different stuff on the bed.
And so where the targets that were on the wall, they'd be just where this photograph cuts off at the top. Is that
Yeah,
right?
just above the bottom, the
Okay.
top part of the target would be, or of this picture where the targets would be.
Okay. Here's 216. What are we looking at here?
Yep, so that's like a nightstand just off the bed, various things on the nightstand.
And 242. This is a closer version, a closer photograph of the items on the nightstand.
Yep, correct. It was various spent shell casings, looks like various caliber spent shell casings inside the plastic container, which was on the nightstand, which is directly next to the shooter's bed.
And this is exhibit 243. You mentioned the butt of the rifle of that gun in an earlier photograph. Is this what you're referring to?
Correct. Yep. When I was speaking with James earlier, the video you played earlier, you kind of described that was the one he told me not to be freaked out about. It was the BB gun rifle that was on in the shooter's bedroom on his computer chair. And that's how it was when it was found.
This is exhibit 244. What's this?
So that would be part of the dresser there that the TV's on. He had there was a notebook there, pencil, stuff like that. His wallet, that was on the TV stand. That was on the TV stand.
In the middle bedroom still?
Correct, so the middle bedroom.
Okay. And 245, same drawer, different angle?
Yeah, correct. Looks like there's a lighter. I believe those are fireworks of some kind. Just another notebook, and that was also in the middle bedroom on the dresser there.
And exhibit 246, are we still in the middle bedroom?
Yep, still in the middle bedroom, so that's gonna be right at the front of the bed. It's a bottle, it looks like it's an empty bottle of Canada House, which is bourbon whiskey, at the end of the bed.
Now I'm gonna move on to the north bedroom. This was identified as the shooter's other bedroom?
Correct.
Okay, so this would be the bedroom on the other side of the bathroom?
Yep, so when you came out of the kitchen, you made that right. It was a small hallway straight ahead of the bathroom. To the right was gonna be the bedroom we're gonna see now, which I think is the north bedroom, and to the left was that middle bedroom, is what you guys just saw in the pictures there.
Okay, so here's exhibit 217. What are we looking at here?
Yep, so just kind of a shot of the overall bedroom on the right, which was also the shooter's bedroom, second bedroom.
218, same north bedroom, but from a different angle?
Correct, so that'd be right when you walk into your immediate left, there's a TV stand, a TV, some clothing on the floor, and on your right there, you can see the bed, which had various things spread all over it.
Okay, again, this is the natural state of how you found it?
Correct.
219, what are we looking at here?
Yep, so
No,
when
I
you
made
walk
it
in, you made a
messier,
left. At this point, they're kind of
just for the
rounding the
picture.
I'm
back.
sorry, 282, I misspoke.
It would just be the picture of the bed, and then in the far left corner there is a litter box, cat litter box on the ground there.
It's the far left corner?
Yeah, so you get right there, yeah.
Oh, I see, okay.
Just various clothing and other items on the bed.
219, are we still in the north bedroom?
Correct, it's the closet, clothes in the closet.
All right, 220, what is this?
It's just a bed, again, various things on the bed.
This is 247.
Yeah, so that was a notebook that was recovered in the bedroom. Obviously, has some pictures of a rifle on it. Looks like another handgun in the bottom left there.
Okay, that's 247. That was found on the bed in the north bedroom.
Yeah, correct.
Here's 221. Are we still in the north bedroom?
Yeah, so that's just, now you're like looking out towards the bedroom. That's that doorway to the far left is the door that leads you out of the bedroom. And that open door was the open door to the bedroom that we saw the initial pictures in. Just straight directly across the hall. They were both the shooter's bedrooms.
Okay, did you observe anything on the shelf?
Yeah, there were some knives, various knives on the shelves.
Okay, and that's depicted in exhibit 248.
Correct.
And then finally, exhibit 222. This is standing in the north bedroom, looking down at the TV would be.
Yeah, it was the TV stand. It had a little fireplace there and various items on the TV stand.
Okay, so we mentioned the bathroom that was adjacent to these two bedrooms. This is exhibit 223. Does this accurately depict what you observed that day?
Yep, it does.
Now, did you also participate in the search of the master bedroom?
I did.
Okay, you mentioned what you observed during that process when you secured the home, but you participated in the search as well?
Correct.
This is exhibit 224. What do we see here?
Yes, you'd walk into the master bedroom, which you'll see other pictures here, but to your immediate right, the master bedroom was the bed. Right when you walked in, this was the first thing you could see was the open gun box. And that box next to it is an empty box of 9mm ammunition. And this is exactly how we saw it when we did the initial search of the house, and then when we came back in, once the search warrant was granted, this is how it was when we came in.
Okay. And this box right here is the empty box of ammunition, the red box?
Correct, 9mm ammunition.
This is exhibit 225. This is the same master bedroom.
Yeah, just kind of a different view, but that's, that'd be, you make a right to the bedroom, the bed was against the wall, and that was one of the sides of the bed.
Exhibit 226.
Yep, same thing, just the other side of the bed. So that far window right there on the left would be the window that would face the backyard of the residence.
Jay, this house gives me a real bed
Exhibit
bug vibe.
227.
Yep, far
Yeah.
left side of the bed there.
Yeah.
That's the outer window that faces the backyard, and it's just clothing on the ground.
Okay, 228. This is still in the master bedroom.
Yep, so that's the door there to the master bedroom. When you walked in immediately on
This
the
is
right.
the door here.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
And on the wall there was armoire. On the far, or on the immediate right was that armoire.
And this is exhibit 229.
Yep, just a different shot. That's the door. Immediate right's that armoire. To your left in that picture is the bed.
Okay, just so we're clear, all of these pictures of the master bedroom were taken November the 30th before the room was searched.
Correct.
Now, was the TV stand searched as well?
It was.
And that's where James told you to look for the 22 caliber firearms?
Correct.
Exhibit 230, this is the TV stand I'm referring to?
Yep, so that was what James had described when I spoke with him. That's the TV stand, right when you walk into the bedroom, to your immediate left was that TV stand, multiple drawers and a TV on it. Within the door you're seeing, there was like a sliding glass door that would lead you to the outside backyard of the residence.
This is exhibit 231, this is a straight on view.
Correct.
Exhibit 233, this is angled to the left.
Correct.
All right, 234, what are we looking at here?
Yep, so that TV stand we just saw, the furthest right door that was opened up, and that was where the gun box was, or the gun safe was located right there on the top shelf, as it is in the picture there.
And that was recovered by you?
It was.
Okay. And did you use the code 000 to open it?
I did.
It would open with that?
It did.
Was ammunition found on that shelf as well?
Yep, so when the gun box was removed from there, there was 2 magazines, the holster. It's kind of hard to see, but you can see there's a box of ammunition there in the back.
Okay. You say holster, what we're looking at, the object on the right, that's the holster?
Yeah, it's like a cloth holster, a black cloth holster.
This is exhibit 235. 236, were those items from that right drawer taken out and put on top of the TV stand?
Yep, so at this point, they were removed from the picture you just saw. They were put on top of the TV stand. On the left there, you can see the 2 magazines, gun magazines up, and then there's the bag with the ammunition in it. And then I think at the right, there's the box for the ammunition.
Okay, and that's 22 caliber ammunition?
Correct.
Okay, did you participate in the search of the kitchen as well?
I did.
First of all, here's 237. This is what, let me ask you, what is this picture?
Yep, so the black firearm there is a 22 Kel-Tec handgun that was recovered when I opened the safe. The silver gun there is a 22 Derringer. It's a single shotgun that was also found in the safe once I opened it up. And then there was another magazine there to the far left, which is kind of hard to see. And then there's some ear protection. The orange ear protection is also located in the safe when it was opened.
So this is 238. What is this?
That's the 22 Derringer that was recovered in the safe.
And 240.
That's the 22 Kel-Tec handgun that was recovered in the safe.
Okay, so this is 276. Can you tell us what we're looking at here?
Yep, so that would be the kitchen. The pictures you saw earlier, that would have been on the right-hand side, and we saw the pictures of the kitchen. It's the refrigerator.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to take us around the kitchen. Well, first of all, is there an island in the kitchen?
Yeah, so when you're looking outside of the kitchen, there was an island in the middle. There was across from that was like a sink, some shelving units, and then all across from the island is this, which is the fridge, more shelving units, all located in the kitchen.
Okay. This is 278, so this would be on the other side of the kitchen?
Yep, correct. So that would just be, and I described the other side of the island. You have the sink there on the left, the stove, and just various cabinets and other things in the kitchen there.
Did you have occasion search in this island here?
I did.
This is 277, that's the island I'm referring to?
Correct.
All right. Exhibit 253, tell us what we're looking at here and where it was found.
Yep, so on the far right corner there, you can see a black, which is later discovered to be a black gun box there in the far right corner.
Let me back up for 1 second. So we're talking about, I'm sorry, this cupboard here, the right cupboard of that
I
island?
believe it was, yes, the right
Okay.
corner, correct.
And that's 277. Here's 253.
Yep, so there in the far right corner, you can kind of see that black gun box was located there in the island on the right side of the island.
Okay, and was that removed?
It was.
Okay. This exhibit 255, what is this?
Yep, so that's just the gun box was taken out of there, and that's just the picture of the gun box. It was the gun box for that Kel-Tec, that black firearm that was found in the bedroom. This is the gun box for that 22 handgun.
And this is 256. What are we looking at here?
Yep, so the gun box was opened. It was obviously empty. Besides that, cable lock was located inside of the gun box. If you look closely, you can see the keys to the gun or to the cable lock there in the bottom part of the baggie there. That's how that was located when it was opened up.
Did you or any other detective find any other locking mechanism for a firearm anywhere in the home?
No.
You want to say this, the gun box next to the blender, what kind of a gun box was that?
That was for the 22 Kel-Tec. It was the black handgun that was found in the safe in the bedroom.
All right.
Okay. And that's in exhibit 253, which is also depicted in exhibit 255. And that's where the cable lock was contained, depicted in exhibit 256. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. All right. All right. What are we looking at here in 257?
That's just a gaming system. I believe it was a PlayStation gaming system that was located in the residence.
Okay. 258.
Yeah, those are games for that gaming system, Battlefield, Assassin's Creed, Battlefront, just various games that were located inside of the residence for that gaming system.
All right. Here's 259.
Yep, looks like those are more games, Grand Theft Auto. I'm not familiar with the other ones, Battlefield, and then a few to the right there.
Okay. 260.
Yep, Call of Duty, Attack on Titan, some other games that would be used in that gaming system.
All right. Was anything searched outside of the home?
Yeah, so outside of the house, there was a vehicle, a gray Kia that was located in the driveway. It's Mr. Crumbley's vehicle. This is a picture of when the trunk was opened up, what was in the back of the vehicle.
Was there a garage or shed associated with the home?
Yeah, no garage. So the first picture we saw was the outside of the house. There was a driveway to the left of that led to the backyard. And in the backyard, there's a shed in the backyard, but there was no enclosed garage or anything like that.
Okay. Was the shed searched as well?
The shed was searched, correct?
All right. Here's exhibit 298. Before we get to the shed, what are we looking at here?
Yeah, it's just like an overhang, like almost like a foyer outdoor area that was covered. There's a grill out there, like a seating area, which is on the back of the residence prior to getting to the shed.
Here's exhibit 299. Is the shed you referred to?
Correct.
Exhibit 264. What do we see here?
Yeah, so you walk into the shed, immediately through the door to the right, there was a couple BB guns right leaned against the wall there. As you can see, the brown one to the far left of the picture, and then the black one, which is rested against kind of the door frame there.
Exhibit 265.
Yeah, just a different angle. You can see the black BB gun in the right corner, then the brown one's right there visible, leaning against the wall.
Exhibit 266.
This is like on the workbench in the shed there. There was some BB guns recovered. That's like a Uzi style BB gun that was sitting on the bench when we went inside of the shed.
Exhibit 267.
Another BB gun. It's like a 357 style BB gun that was seated on. Same thing, right by that Uzi there. We walked in. There was a big bench, and that was on the bench when you walked into the shed.
Okay. Here's exhibit 268.
Yeah, so you can kind of see the work area there in the back where the BB guns were recovered. This is just kind of an outer shot of some of the chairs and the floor of the shed.
269. What are we looking at here?
Yep, so that was outside of the shed. It was various CO2 containers which are used to shoot BB guns, pellet guns on the ground there.
Okay. Now, back in the home, exhibit 289, where was this taken?
Yeah, so when you, as I described, when you're walking the hallway to before the master bedroom, there was like a landing that led you to the basement and to the outside of the house. So this was just an outer picture of that landing area. To the left of that photo, taking the basement, and to the right, taking to the backyard.
And exhibit 295?
Yeah, same thing, just kind of a landing, just an outer picture of that. Once you go there, to the right is that door that leads you to the backyard. And if you went down to the left, that would take you down into the basement area of the house.
Any areas of the home that were not photographed during the execution search warrant?
No, everything was photographed.
Okay. Now, we heard the video where you told James that he and his wife could leave. That was timestamped at 3:42 p.m. At some point, did they return?
Yep, so after we were done with the search warrant, they returned to the residence and they spoke with Lieutenant Marsban.
Okay. Were their phones seized at that point?
They were.
Okay. And at some point, were they turned over to Oakland County Computer Crimes?
Yeah, they were driven back to the high school by myself and Detective McPherson, and they were given to Detective Wachowski.
Nothing further. Thank you, Deb.
Cross.
Yes, Your Honor. One moment.
I gotta say one thing I was thinking about. What about like if they have dogs, like all that shit that's
Can we
around?
speak
I'd be
back
worried
to
for
the beginning
dogs
of
getting into them.
Your direct.
Other than the guns, obviously.
In exhibit, I don't know if this is gonna log on. In exhibit 205. There we go. Exhibit 205 is the map that was drawn. The map that was drawn of the Crumbley residence.
Correct.
And this is of the interior of the residence. You agree?
Correct.
Now, you also looked at the exterior of the residence because you went in the shed in the backyard, correct?
Correct.
And if you recall, it's a fairly deep lot.
Yeah, it's got a large backyard.
Okay, so what you see from the street, the house is closer to the street than closer to the back of the lot. Would that be fair?
That's fair.
Okay. So it's not like a small backyard. It's fairly deep, which means that there's a lot of space between the back of the backyard and the front of the house. Is that fair?
Yeah, so there was a fairly large fenced-in backyard. I don't know exactly how big, but yeah, I mean, it was large. There's a lot of space.
Thank you. When you first went into the home, you did the initial sweep to make sure that there were no other people in the house, correct?
Correct.
And that's common. That's common practice for executing a search warrant or securing a premises.
Correct.
And in the home, you noticed that there was an open Sig Sauer box with an empty box of 9mm ammunition in the master bedroom on the bed.
Yeah, correct. That was one of the first things I saw. When I
Jay, did they have
In the
pets?
master bedroom, you identified as James Crumbley's bedroom.
Correct.
I think they did. They had a dog, right? And a cat.
And we'll look at, if you
He
need to,
had
we
the
can look at the
cats.
photo, but do you
Remember, he
recall
said
that
be cognizant
that box
of
of
the
ammunition
doors
was Patriot
because of the
Defense
cats.
9mm ammunition?
Yeah, and didn't he say there's a husky in there that he's nice? I thought, or something like
We
that.
looked at exhibit
Yeah,
300, which was the first video from approximately 2:50 p.m. in the back of the patrol car. Do you recall reviewing that video?
Dog died, Dizzy says.
Oh damn.
I
You would
imagine there were
agree
little cat
that as
turds all over that house.
James's wife is being placed in the
Possibly.
patrol car with handcuffs. James is obviously distraught. He's asking questions like, why are you in handcuffs? Why is she in handcuffs?
I'm
Correct?
going to object to the form of the question of obviously distraught. I don't think he's able to give that sort of testimony.
What is the relevance of why she was in handcuffs? It's like,
Yeah, I mean, he was obviously wondering what was going on, asking questions.
He was upset.
I'm not putting
I
it
don't really know
together,
him. I
Jay.
mean, he was asking a lot of questions.
Trying to figure
Yeah,
out what was
Blair.
going on.
Correct.
Cat poop. Like pick up one of those blankets in one of those rooms.
You watched
and
the
there's
video
little
more.
Cat turds.
And you reviewed that video prior to coming in today, correct?
The in-car video,
Yes, the exhibit 300.
I've seen the video before.
Okay. And the reason I'm asking that is because you wouldn't have seen this exchange unless you reviewed the video, which is why I'm asking. But there was a point in the video where James leans over to his wife and tells her he loves her. Do you remember seeing that?
Correct.
And if you recall, he comments, just in case anything happens, I love you, and he gives her a kiss.
Correct.
So you would agree that James had some concern that something bad might happen.
I believe at some point he states somewhere along the lines of that. So yeah, correct.
You said after that exhibit 300 video, James was transported to the substation to be interviewed by law enforcement, correct?
Yeah, like I said, there was a lot going on. Initially, we were instructed to talk to him. Then after speaking with Sergeant Bryan, it was determined that he had already spoke with them, so he was brought back at that point.
Right. So either on the way or once you got to the substation, you learned that James had already spoken to Sergeant Bryan prior to you all arriving at his residence. And so you took him back to the residence.
Correct.
Exhibit 204 is at approximately 3:42 p.m. Oh, let me go back to Exhibit 300. There was a point in that video where James makes the comment to his wife about not talking without a lawyer. Do you remember seeing that?
Correct.
Okay. Now, you know that if somebody is being suspected of a crime, you've been a detective for a while. Is that fair?
Fair.
Okay. You know that if somebody's being suspected of a crime or suspected of doing something wrong, they have the right to counsel.
Correct.
Asking for a lawyer or wanting a lawyer doesn't mean anything other than I want a lawyer with me. Is that fair?
Fair.
Okay. Exhibit 204 is after that initial video with James and his wife in the back of the patrol car. You agree with that?
Is that the video where I was speaking with him?
Yes, at 3:42 p.m.
Correct.
At that point, you're waiting for the search warrant to be signed by the court.
I am.
And you talk to James and you have a couple of exchanges, and then you ask him if he's willing to tell you where the firearms are, correct?
Yep, I kind of explained to him that he could sit in the car, he could go sit in his car. He didn't have to say where he was when he was talking to me, and then after that, yeah, we had the exchange about where the weapons were in the house.
He told you where those firearms were, correct?
Yeah, he was cooperative when I was speaking with him.
He told you that they were in a gun case?
Correct.
That was locked?
Correct.
That it was in the back of the house, the room in the back of the house?
Correct.
In the TV stand?
Correct.
He told you that it was the right cabinet door?
Correct.
That the gun safe contained a .22 Derringer and a .22 Caltech?
Correct.
And then he gave you the combination, but we would agree that he actually added a digit to the combination.
Yeah, he told me there was 4 zeros, and it was 3 zeros to get inside the safe.
And it's obvious by looking at the gun case, or I'm sorry, the gun safe, that there's only 3 numbers on it, right?
Yeah, the dial has 3 numbers on it.
So you couldn't have added a 4th number.
Correct.
You would agree that there was a lot going on at that moment
There was a lot going on at that moment.
for both you and also Mr. Crumbley.
Correct.
Through your involvement in this case, you're not aware that anyone else in the house had knowledge of that combination. Is that fair? You don't know if anyone else had it.
Yeah, I don't know.
And James also made comments to you about being completely open and wants you to do whatever you have to do. Is that correct?
Correct.
And you said he was cooperative with you.
When I spoke with him, he was, yes.
In fact, he even commented and told you about that rifle-looking BB gun that was in his son's room and wanted to assure you that it wasn't what it looked like.
Yep, he told me before going in the house that there was going to be that rifle that was a BB gun sitting in the shooter's bedroom, correct?
There was some exchange, and it sounded like James was going to leave the premises with his wife, but said that he needed his phone back. At that point, you all had taken his phone, if you recall.
Yeah, so I at that point did not have his phones, and I honestly don't know who had the phones at that point, so I don't recall.
You knew at that point that he didn't have his phone, based on his statement to you.
Yeah, I knew that at that point his phone was not on this person.
And we'll get back to that in a minute, because you did talk about that a little bit more. In Exhibit 215, which is a photo of, I think we call it the north bedroom. I'm sorry, the middle bedroom. There, you commented that there's a knife on the bed. It was a butter knife, correct?
Yeah, correct.
Exhibit 244, which is also in the middle bedroom, is a photo of the open desk drawer. And there's a notebook, colored pencils, and miscellaneous items.
Correct.
You didn't open that notebook to see what was in it, correct?
I personally did not.
You don't know if Mr. Crumbley knew what was in that notebook, is that correct?
I wouldn't be able to say.
You would have no way of knowing, is that right?
I don't know. Yeah.
Exhibit 245 is a picture of the bed. I'm sorry, it's a picture of another notebook in the desk. It's a green notebook, correct?
Correct.
Same questions. You didn't open that notebook.
I personally did not open that notebook.
You don't know what's in it.
I do not know.
You don't know, you have no knowledge whether Mr. Crumbley knew.
I wouldn't be able to say one way or another.
246, it's a photo of an empty bottle of Canada House whiskey next to the bed.
Correct.
You don't know how that bottle got there?
That was there when we came in the house.
Right. You have no knowledge of how it got there, who had it, who put it there. You have no idea. You just know that it was there.
Correct.
Exhibit 220 is a picture, I believe, also of this is the second bedroom. So I believe this is the north bedroom. Exhibit 220 is a picture of the bed.
Mhm.
And that would be, is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay. And that would be Mr. Crumbley's son's second bedroom. That's what it's been referred to, correct?
Correct.
Exhibit 240, I believe it's 247, can't read my own writing, is a notebook that's open on the bed. You recall seeing that photo?
Correct.
And inside that notebook, there are photos of gun drawings.
Correct.
That notebook from 247, if you recall, is the same notebook from 220. If you'd like to see the photos, I can.
Yeah, so in all honesty, I didn't have a ton to do with those notebooks. I recall seeing those in there. I don't know where that one came from.
Okay. Okay. If you recall from Exhibit 220, the notebook is closed or not displayed open, and it's under some items on the bed, if you recall.
Correct.
So you didn't open that notebook, you didn't go through that notebook, you have no knowledge of what was in that notebook other than what's in the photo.
Yeah, I didn't personally at that time go through the notebook.
And again, through your involvement in this case, you have no knowledge whether Mr. Crumbley was aware of what was in any of those notebooks.
Yeah, I don't know.
In Exhibit 235 is that is the gun safe, or I'm sorry, that is after you've removed the gun safe from the TV stand in the cupboard.
Yeah, I saw a lot of, I don't know what picture you're referring to, I'm sorry.
Yes, let me see if I can find it.
Are you referring to the one that was recovered in the kitchen?
No, this is the actual gun safe that was recovered in the, actually, you know what? Let me do it this way. I have a hard copy of it. It'll be easier for me to get to. May I approach, Your Honor?
Sure.
Thank you. I might also ask about 236, so I'm going to bring them both to you. You're welcome.
Yeah, so 235 is the picture of the master bedroom. It's the dresser where the gun safe was recovered from. At this point, the gun safe had been removed. And all of this that you're seeing, the magazines, the gun holster, and the bullets in the background were below that safe that we took out from there.
And those magazines, the two magazines, those were empty.
They were.
When you say below, they were underneath or on the lower shelf?
Yep, no, so the gun safe was recovered on top of all that. So at this point, this picture is showing once the gun safe had been taken out, and that's below that.
And 236, if you could look at 236, that's a picture of the magazines and the ammunition that was removed from that cupboard, correct?
Yeah, so at this point, everything was taken out and photographed on top of that TV stand there. It's the two magazines, the bullets inside of the bag, even the box that the ammunition was in.
And I just wanted to confirm that those were the same magazines that were inside the cabinet.
Yeah, correct.
So those were empty.
They were empty.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you, Detective. When you were discussing Exhibit 256 with the prosecution specifically asked you if there were no other locking mechanisms found in the home. Do you remember that question?
I do.
You arrived at the home after, if you recall, after 2 p.m. on November 30th of 2021.
Yeah, it was short. It was around the time of the first video we saw. I don't know the exact time, but around the first time the video we saw. The first video.
So it's fair to say you have no knowledge of what was in that house prior to your arrival at approximately 2:50 on November 30th of 2021.
Yeah, I can only speak to what I saw when I went inside the residence. I don't know what was there prior.
You can't say whether or not there were any additional locking mechanisms in the house that morning. Is that fair? You have no knowledge of that.
Again, yeah, I can only speak to what I saw, what I found. I don't know what was there prior.
Exhibit 260, you went through some photos of video games. 257 was some video game, the gaming system. 258 were video games. 259 was more video games. 260, if you recall, and I can hand you the exhibit if you'd like, was Call of Duty and a game that you weren't familiar with, Attack on Titan.
Correct.
Did you need to look at the exhibit?
No, I
Okay. Call of Duty you sound, based on your testimony, it sounded like you were a little familiar with Call of Duty.
Yeah, I don't play video games, but obviously I'm familiar just with seeing commercials, and I'm aware of what Call of Duty is.
Okay. And on the front of on the cover, it has WW2 for World War II. Is that correct?
Correct.
Call of Duty, you would agree, is a type of military video game.
Correct.
It's what would be described as a first-person shooter video game.
Correct.
And if you know, and if you don't, please tell me you don't know. A person playing Call of Duty is a person holding a firearm in the video game and engaging in combat. If you know.
Honestly, I'm probably the last person to test about video games. I don't play video games.
But to your knowledge, it is a military video game, which is a first-person shooter military video game.
Correct.
At the end of your direct testimony, you discussed that the prosecutor asked you if James Crumbley's phone was seized, correct?
Correct.
Now, there are a couple of different ways that law enforcement can obtain somebody's cell phone. Would you agree with that?
Correct.
You can get a search warrant and take it from them, right?
Correct.
They can hand it to you, right?
Correct.
You can say something like, you can give it to me or we'll get a search warrant, and they can hand it to you, right?
Correct.
In this case, if you recall, at some point, Mr. Crumbley did not have his cell phone because he said, I need to get my cell phone back, correct? While in the back of a patrol car.
Correct.
At some point, he got his cell phone back.
I didn't have any exchange with him after that about the cell phones. Honestly, I don't know if he got it back.
Now, do you recall that, if you're not aware, just let me know. Are you aware that there was some conversation about James and his wife giving their phones to law enforcement and then having to obtain some sort of another phone to be able to communicate with their family?
Yeah, so at some point, Lieutenant Marsban showed up at 112 East Street, and he had a conversation with James and Jennifer about the cell phones. I don't know the specific language of the search warrant, but the phones were given to Marsban, who then he provided to me and my partner, and we took them back to the high school.
And if you recall, there was also some discussion about how James and Jennifer could obtain kind of a temporary phone so that they would be able to communicate with people while law enforcement had their phones, if you recall.
Yeah, that was a conversation I had with Lieutenant Marsban. I don't remember the specifics of the conversation, but I know they did have a conversation about the phones.
Okay, so you just know that there was a conversation that occurred where it was discussed with James and Jennifer how to obtain like a temporary phone, like a track phone or something like that.
I don't know the specifics of the conversation. I just know that they did have a conversation about it.
Okay, thank you. No further questions, Ron.
Just quickly, thank you. Detective, did James ever once tell you that the 6 Sauer 9mm used to commit the Oxford High School shooting was ever locked up?
He did not.
Okay. Nothing further.
Who's the next one?
Can I check in the hallway very briefly, Judge?
Yeah, can you give me a student link to get to the break? Okay.
I think the most effective thing to come out of that was actually the fact that the house was in such a state that,
Okay, 10 minutes.
you know, his journals would have been buried in those piles of shit in his room somewhere.
Right.
Which helps in terms of, you know, they wouldn't have been able to find it in that giant mess.
All right.
You know,
if you missed that,
the journals are a thing, man.
if you guys missed that 10-minute break, they're taking a 10-minute break. You know, the state has at least one more witness. Don't know how many, but he was just checking the hallway, I guess, to see if they were there. So,
Hey, good 10-minute break. Let's flip over to Karen Reed hearing. That motion dismiss is going on right now. Like they're trying to.
is it?
It's like, yeah, it's
Long
streaming
cry?
on. I'm sure it's. I'm watching it on. It looks like a local.
Let me see if I can find it.
Oh, so they're already the rebuttal.
was on everything except for Mr. Morrissey's conduct.
There we go. Nice work,
Can you
Jay.
hear that? Or it seems low.
His office are actually
I'll boast it. Volume boost.
Do your boost.
what he knew and believed. Similarly, with regard to his conduct.
So this is the rebuttal. So motions to dismiss are typically, I don't know that they would have put any witnesses on. It's typically legal argument.
7 months and didn't reveal it to the defense until the media got access to those letters. And with that, I would rest.
Okay, thank you. So I do have a question. Did you file the Rule 17 motions already, or do you expect to file them later today?
We will be filing them by the close of business today.
Okay, and they're pretty much outlined in your previous motion, what you needed to file, or are there additional ones in your motion?
They're outlined. Yeah, they're outlined, Judge.
Okay.
Yeah, Jay, this trial is going to be a banger, man. You're going to have to, we should probably do a duel on this one. It's going to be a good one.
This one definitely has some polarized side.
It's got all of it. It's got all of it.
Record holders come into court and object, so I don't want you all to be on the screen. And Ms. Giannetti, certainly you're.
And I'm just dying to see the evidence. You know, I'm tired of hearing people arguing about what's what. You know, like none of us know until we hear the evidence, period.
Yes.
In any case, Donnie Harland Williams, is he like an old timey, like comedian guy? I'm indifferent. Why do you ask, Donnie? Give me more.
By the way, folks, if we're just checking on this
Just
while we're on
popping in
break.
here. Just popping in. Got a 10-minute break in the trial. Figured we'd check out what's going on in Karen Reed's crazy case. Seeing if we could see the turtle boy in there somewhere getting arrested again.
He's out of jail now.
He got out of jail. Spent 90 days, I think, in there, man.
I mean, based on what they're alleging, I think it might have been warranted. It's I don't want to speak out of turn because I don't know the details, the full details, but I will say this, Bob. We kind of talked. I think we talked about this and we streamed it, and you know, I was like, yeah, there's no way. And then more stuff has come out, and like you said, I just want to see the evidence because and there's so much from both sides. It's hard to like. Both sides are so convinced that like they're right, and it's like you said, we haven't really seen the evidence yet. You got to wait.
I was pretty actively tweeting on that case when I became aware of it months and months and months ago, and it was so toxic. You know, and I mean Delphi's toxic too, but like in that case, like there's so much going on from the legal side procedurally that I don't ever have to talk about the facts, the underlying facts. I stick to the pleadings. You know what I mean? Like that's what I do. I explain to people what the pleadings mean, and that's my strong suit. So like there, I don't have to talk about really ever whether Richard Allen's guilty or innocent because none of us know. There, I could just talk about procedurally, like all the shit that's been going on in that case. Whereas with Karen Reed, it was all factual. You know what I mean? It was like everybody just arguing, like, you know, about whether the Cellubrite search for how long to die in the cold was actually, you know, searched at 2:37 in the morning, you know, by one of the people that was inside that house, or whether it wasn't. And it was just like never ending. And I just had to take a step back out of it. So I'm really.
Go ahead.
What'd she say?
No, I was just gonna say she says lots of deputies in this court, and I was gonna say if you watch some of these hearings, people literally like break out in applause. Like it is wild. Like,
it's crazy
because I and then like outside afterwards, it's and for folks who are not familiar with this case, I don't think, I mean, other than probably maybe like Kohlberger and Delphi, I don't think I've seen so much like this animosity and just like this case, like I said, people are just
and it's like more than those cases, like this case, like just ostensibly, like on its face, has like the elements of like a real trial battle wherein there's two very plausible theories out there. You know what I mean? Like it's either like I can definitely see a world in which, you know, she didn't like run over or back into, you know, her boyfriend and he ends up dying from that. And I can also see a world in which she acted like she did. I don't know that
Right.
there's, you know, like to me, if she did, it should have been not a murder charge, but it should have been like what we're looking at here, like an involuntary manslaughter. Because I think that one thing that has come out that's pretty clear about this is that she was shit faced. Like they had been out drinking all night. And, you know, when she was, and both of them were really, really pretty hammered. And she was driving and she dropped him off late night. And it's all cops. Like the whole, like the party, the after party he was going to, and we're talking about John O'Keefe, who unfortunately lost his life. He was a Boston cop, and you know he was going to a party at a cop's house, and you know they're claiming he never came in, and you know she had dropped him off, and she claimed that she pulled away, and you know they find him the next morning dead on the front lawn. And you know the interesting thing about that case is that law enforcement there never went into that house. Like, could you imagine, Jay? Like, they found somebody dead on your front lawn and they don't even come in to investigate at all into the
Doesn't make
house.
sense.
Like the state of the investigation of that was so suspect to me, you know, especially because it would be one thing if, you know, there was no backstory to like that he was supposed to be going into the house to go in, you know, to party with these people. You know, if I'm saying like if he was just like a guy that was walking by and he had no connection to that house, I could see a world in which law enforcement's not going in. But when the backstory is that he was supposed to be going in there to, you know, to party, and you know he never does, like for them not to go into that house and do any kind of investigation, to me, you know, and they sold the house, they sold the German Shepherd or got rid of it. You know, there's just so many elements of this thing that I think it's going to be a fascinating trial, man.
To me, that's like who just gets rid of their fucking dog, man. I could never do that.
Like a cherished, that would be like me or you getting rid of our like cherished pets.
No way.
You
I
know,
could
it's
never.
like no way, dude. Like Nanook's my guy. It's my guy. Why? Oh, a walk. I'm gonna take him on a nice walk during our lunch break today.
Are you starting to get a little warmer? We might hit 60 over here today. I'm excited.
Yeah,
about
we
that.
hit 60 yesterday, man. It was a beautiful day
Nice.
out. Yeah. Yeah, I'm ready for it.
I don't know why they're just showing us right now. There's nothing. I guess they're trying to decide something now or what. I don't know. What's
Yeah,
going
I don't
on.
know. Like, so we missed the bulk of the arguments, obviously, but I don't know if the judge is planning on ruling like from bench, or if like I don't know. Dizzy, did you hear? Did she say she was taking under advisement? And you know, make sure you're checking on our trial, dude, so we're not missing it.
Yeah, no, I'm checking. So you said
Ooh,
this is a defense
67. And yeah, so this was a defense
motion to dismiss?
motion to dismiss. So this thing's set to go to trial next month, right around
Oh
now.
wow.
Yeah, it's
Oh
coming,
shit. I
man.
didn't realize it was that quick.
Yeah, the defense had filed a motion for a continuance, and the state didn't object, and the judge is like, pound sand. All right, so we might be getting a ruling here real quick. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, so that's interesting.
All right, you had a question, Mr. Jackson?
I did, Your Honor, just about the logistics of the trial, meaning days in trial, half days, 5 days a week, 4 days a week. I wanted to get some sort of sense so we can begin planning.
Okay, so we're going to go full days, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, half days, Tuesday, Thursday.
Interesting.
1.5 days
Mornings. Okay.
Interesting.
Right now.
Tracy, I don't think Turtle Boy is welcome in the courtroom at this point.
Anything from the Commonwealth?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. McDermott?
Judge, I just wanted to put on the record that I think I provided to everyone copies of that letter from Google. I just wanted to make sure. Just put that on the record.
Letter from Google.
Thank you.
We received copies.
Great, great. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Aaron. Thank you.
Is that, I guess that's about searches or something? Letter from Google.
Yeah, I mean, the searches in this thing are huge.
Yeah.
It's like one of the people inside of the house, the defense had claimed that they found when they had their forensic person examine the phone of one of the people that was inside of the house that who had volunteered her phone. Like they've been trying to subpoena all the phones of all the other people that were in that house, and the judges denied them. Aside from the owner of the house, and she really limited the search and scope in terms of what they could look for in terms of duration, like the days, but like the defense had alleged that when they did a Cellubrite extraction of the phone, that they had found that this woman in the house had searched at 2:37 a.m. how long to die in the cold, which is a very damning statement, because it would seem to indicate that, like, what the defense's theory is that he took a beating inside the house, that something went awry, and he wasn't like super close with these guys in the house, and it came out that the owner of the home and his son are neighbors, and they have like an ongoing kind of like hate match, grudge match, like, feuding type dudes who give each other shit all the time. And so the thought was that maybe he took a beating in there. I don't think that they would have intended to kill him, but they, maybe they knocked him out. They're like, toss him out on the front. He'll just walk away. And then, the guy never gets up. And then at like 2:37, she's like, well, it's cold as shit out. This was in January. So like, like how long is it going to take before is this guy going to die? Because it's like, if you're cops and you put a beating on somebody in your house, you're not anxious to, call 911. You're just probably hoping the guy's going to wake up and, wander off, maybe not remembering what happened. And then when he just continues not to move, like that seems like something that you might text or Google, like, hey, so like, like how long is it going to take before this guy might die? Like I'm freaking out. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's going to be a really, really interesting trial. And it's going to be hard fought. And I think
it'll go ahead.
No,
I was just gonna say, like, I think like that, and I agree with all you said, but like, just like I said, just monitoring the courtroom, like, I just wonder what it's gonna be like, because there's gonna be a lot of people there who like want to, like, they've already like made kind of scenes in the courtroom. Like the judge is really gonna have to be cognizant to, like, and as you saw just in that hearing, there were like 4 court security that were there, like just watching. Like it's gonna be it's gonna be streaming. It's gonna be very interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, I think the judge is going to have to rein that shit in, like at the very beginning of the trial. Like that's all a judge. If the judge says, look, if one person makes a peep in this courtroom, you're out, period, and you're not coming back. She's just got to take control of the courtroom. It's her courtroom. These judges who just allow trials to get away from them, that's on them. You know what I mean? It's like, we've seen great judges, it started with
Newman wouldn't let any of that shit go down.
Right. He's not having that shit. You act appropriately in my courtroom or you're gone, period. And I think that threat of being booted is enough to keep people in line. It's like, she just can't allow for that to happen and derail it.
Interesting too, because I'm trying to think about it. Like, have we most of the trials that I've watched have been, to be honest, have been Florida or the South, and then there's Delphi, which is kind of the kind of central,
right?
But like, have we had any that have been Northeast, like Boston? Like, just it'll be interesting to see just that dynamic.
Not that I can think of.
Me either. I can't think of any we watched that have been. Oh, I guess Jersey was. Jersey, we've had a couple, maybe. Zach Latham was Jersey, but other than that, not Boston, certainly not. Massachusetts or wherever that is.
Yeah, it's a little town in Mass called Canton. So it's outside of Boston. Yes, JD, I did say that my pup's name is Nanook of the North. He's half Siberian Husky, so So we like the way that our naming when we rescued him, and he was a little sweet little puppy. You know, it was right around Christmas. I had gotten Christmas slash you know, we do both. So we have a Hanukkah bush. My wife is Jewish, so so it was right in between. It was one of those years when Hanukkah and Christmas were kind of real close to one another. And so we got the dog, and then like the way that we were going to name him is like everybody came up with 5 names, like all the kids, even my grown kids, and like we submitted them, and then like we put them all in a hat, and then went through. Well, no, first we went through and picked 2 out of the 5 names that every person submitted, and of course I was doing shit like, you know, like Nanook, which everybody hated. and like I'm like, trust me, I'm like, this is the best name. Like everybody's gonna end up loving it. So like I think it lost, like my name's lost, but I like overrode everybody. I'm like, yeah, I think we're gonna name him Nanook, and then, you know, of course everybody, it's a great
lost
name.
You picked from a hat, you lost
Yeah.
it, you still made it your pick.
Yeah, I'm a fucking dick, man. You know, it was like every like, but like it was a I told you so situation, you know, because everybody's like, yeah, it's a pretty great name. It's like I'm trying to come up with like a novel name, you know what I mean? Like it's good, you know. Oh, Trichonis. Trichonis, yeah.
Yeah, Trichonis was Connecticut. We went the Beatles route. We went, you know, Penny and Prudence, and hopefully Babe lets me hit a 3rd one at some point, and maybe we'll go like Pepper for Sergeant Pepper. That would be cool to have 3 P names with the Beatles. We'll see if Babe lets me.
I like
but
that.
She doesn't want to,
Yeah,
and I get why.
I mean, but you guys have small dogs, you know, so it's like more tenable. Like Nanook's a big dude, man.
Right.
And he gets worked up if he doesn't get his walks, you know. He gets all out of shape and bent out of shape. And gets very, no democracy in my house. I mean, typically Allison runs the shit, so, you know, like the dog thing was it was kind of me just, oh, we had a Nanook also. Aw, Alice, that's awesome.
Does
we
Nanook
went with the same spelling, the NANUK for Nook.
Does the Nook pick up on your cues? In other words, like my dogs know I have a certain yellow orange Met hat I wear. If I put that on and then I tighten my string, you know, on my pet, they know, like they start freak. Does the Nook have, like, did you do something where getting out the leash or something where like he goes crazy if knowing you're gonna go for a walk, or
oh yeah,
triggers?
Like he knows the word. Like,
well,
like
yeah,
if
the
I'm
word,
not
yeah.
ready to give, if he just hears walk, like he perks up, he stands up, he gets down, he follows me upstairs. So like when I'm not ready to give him a walk, I spell it.
Yeah, we do that.
Like he's like a small child.
WA.
Like, I'm not ready to take. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so like, yeah, he's hip. Like he's a smart dude, man. Like if he wants attention, he'll go like into our like powder room on the 1st floor, and he'll like close himself in there. Like he'll lock himself in there so that we have to come up and like let him out, and he does it like consistently. You know, he demands attention, that guy. Serena, he is half Siberian Husky, half Shar-Pei. He's a beautiful guy, and he's got just the best disposition. He's the sweetest dude. Oh yeah, Ned, he talks. He's a talker. Like he'll sit, like if he's got to go to the bathroom like early before I'm like out of bed, he'll stand at like the foot of the bed and just like talk. Be like, it's great. My sister has a husky named Nanook. Look at this. Artsy fartsy. Yeah, the huskies, man, they're talkers. They're talkers. And like whenever I bring him to the dog park and he's like hanging with other dogs, Jesse, he's been on the show like a ton of times. Like he comes on. Jay's seen Nook. Yeah. I try to get him to come down. I'm down in the basement where I have the podcast studio. Yeah, Irene, he's a beautiful dog. And he leans hard towards the husky, so he doesn't have the flatter face like a Shar-Pei, but he's got the folds. Like I can turn him into a Shar-Pei because he's got the extra
That's
skin, so I can like push his skin up, so he looks like he doesn't love when I do that though. It's not his favorite thing when I turn him to a Shar-Pei. Spitfire. So I had a neighbor when I was like young, and my stepfather was in the Air Force, and like real nice kid, but he had this huge scar, like it just went down the entire side of his face and curled up around his mouth. And I come to find out that his mother's chow had like nearly ripped the kid's face off because he was down by the dog's bowl when it was eating.
Ooh.
And they kept the dog. I was like, man, I get loving your dog, but it almost ripped your kid's face off. I have to let that dog go. So JD, my husky pup when I was younger, a little girl, was Nanook of the Rockies. I love that. That's awesome. No, Zafiro, he didn't get the purple tongue. That's what I'm saying. Like he got more of the, like he's got the husky snout. He got the Shar-Pei coloring with like hints. He's really a beautiful dog. Like we got so lucky because he was a rescue, you know. And he's just like, you always worry about that they're abused, but it was like a whole litter. So, and it's funny when you go and like, you know, there's a bunch of dogs from a litter and, you know, you're trying to pick one out and you're like, oh, we'll see which one comes to us. And he was the little dude that came to us.
That's awesome.
Yeah. He's dude. Like, and I fought getting a dog and I've always loved dogs, but we had 4 kids, you know, and like a dog is like your child. So you gotta take care of them, man. Like you gotta, if you're traveling, you have to make sure that, and like, and I'm not big on boarding my dogs because I don't trust any of the boarding places, you know. So it's like you have to make arrangements to get the dog cared for, you know. So, but finally I cracked. Scarlett, she cracked me.
All right.
All right, let's go.
Let's see who we got.
Let's see, Carol. I'll pull up a dog picture of the guy. I've got thousands of them.
Yes, Judge. Next witness is David Henry.
David Henry.
Easily confused.
Here's Nanook when he was young. If you can see it.
I'll put it. I can put it
He's
on
like-
now. Hold on.
He's like he's in his like porn star pose there. He's like, hey, how you doing? I think he's probably like 8 months old there. Like here's like this is more him as a bigger guy. Let's see. Well, I can never figure this shit out.
There you go. That's perfect right there.
Yeah. Sweetest guy, man. I'm obviously giving him a snack there, a treat.
David Henry. Henry.
Oh, Hendrick. I got you.
Could you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm the testimony about to give is the true self?
Yes, sir, I'm ready.
Oh, MH, I'm so sorry to hear that.
And then would you state your name for the record and spell your first and last name?
David Hendrick, DavidHendrick.
Go ahead, Mr. Cruz.
Thank you. Sir, how are you employed?
As a part-time employee with the Oakland County Sheriff's Office.
Okay, and how long have you been part-time?
2 days.
More LE.
And prior to that part-time employment, did you work full-time with the Oakland County Sheriff's Office?
I did.
Okay, and how long did you spend as a full-time employee?
34 years.
And at some point, did you retire from full-time employment?
I did.
When was that?
Last May.
Okay, so you didn't stay retired for long?
No.
All right. In your 34 years working with the Sheriff's Office, could you tell us, please, what sort of assignments you had?
My last assignment that I had prior to retiring was the sergeant of the Fugitive apprehension team.
Prior to that, I worked about 10 and a half years in our special investigations unit. Prior to that, I worked in our auto theft unit. All those were as sergeants.
Okay.
Prior to getting promoted to sergeant, I worked in our auto theft unit as a deputy and at one of the substations as a substation detective for a few years.
Okay, the special investigative unit, that's what Detective Lieutenant Tim Willis heads up right now, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. I want to talk to you specifically about your time with the Fugitive Apprehension Team. First of all, tell us what exactly that is.
It's a team consists of a sergeant and 7 detectives who are responsible for locating people with felony warrants or who are wanted for serious crimes that they have been alleged to have committed. Those requests that come in are either from our substations at the sheriff's office or other agencies throughout the county that request our assistance.
Okay, and forgive me if I've asked this, but how long did you spend with the Fugitive Apprehension Team?
About 6.5 years.
Okay, and that was as the sergeant?
Yes, sir.
So you would be the individual leading the team?
That's correct.
And how many members of the Fugitive Apprehension Team were there?
I had 7 plus myself.
Is that the role that you had in November and December of 2021?
It is.
Is it fair to say that all of the individuals on the Fugitive Apprehension Team work as a group?
Yes.
Now, I want to direct your attention to the days after the Oxford High School shooting of November the 30th, 2021. First of all, do you remember that day?
I do.
Were you working that day and that week?
Not that specific day. I was out of town, but the rest of the week, yes.
Okay. At some point, were you requested to locate James and Jennifer Crumbley?
We were.
And tell us how that happened, please.
I believe it was December 2nd. Lieutenant Willis asked me to attempt to locate both of them.
Okay. And if I told you they were formally charged on Friday, December 3rd, does that sound right?
Yes.
Okay, so Detective Willis sitting at the table here asked you to locate them?
Yes.
What information did you have at your disposal when you were given this assignment?
They're basic information. They're pictures, full names, height, weight, addresses, vehicles they drove, things of that nature.
Were you made aware that their phones were seized on the evening of November the 30th?
Yes.
Okay, so tell us, please, what did you and your team do to attempt to locate the defendant?
We began looking at and conducting surveillance at their residence.
Yeah, here's the guilt of consciousness, you know, on the lam stuff.
Things of that nature. Checked area hotels.
They might be done with the involuntary stuff, Jay.
And did you locate them? You were given this assignment on December the 2nd, you said?
Yes.
Did you locate them that day?
We did not.
Were you able to identify where they had stayed from November the 30th until that point in time?
We had identified a hotel they had stayed at. I don't specifically remember the name of the hotel, but
Okay.
any hotel.
That's fine. When you received that information, what did you do?
We checked with the hotel staff to find out whether there were still guests there, whether they had checked out. And in fact, they had checked out.
Okay. So after you learned that they had checked out from that hotel, what happened next?
We continued to check area hotels, surveillance of any known locations, and eventually we located a vehicle that belonged to them at a hotel in Auburn Hills.
Okay. And when you identified this vehicle belonging to either James or Jennifer Crumbley, what happened next?
I pulled all of the team to that location and we began constant surveillance on that vehicle to check and see if they would come back for it.
Was that on Thursday, December the 2nd or Friday, December the 3rd?
That was on Friday, December the 3rd.
Okay. And did either the defendant or his wife come back to the vehicle?
They did not.
Okay. And tell us, please, what's happening at that point in time?
At that point, we're still trying to locate them. We're still, again, checking anything, social media, anything we can find to try to locate them.
Okay. And were you able to at that point?
No, we had not.
All right. Tell us what happened next.
At some point late in the evening, and I don't remember the exact time, we were made aware that their other vehicle has been located in a parking lot by the Detroit Police Department.
Okay, so this is late in the evening on Friday, December the 3rd?
Correct.
Okay. Did you come to learn that they were formally charged at noon on December the 3rd?
Yes.
Okay, so earlier that same day?
Correct.
All right. When you learned that they were charged, what did you do personally?
Myself and one of the other detectives went to what we learned was their attorney's office and checked the office parking lot or surrounding parking lots to see if their vehicle might be there. By chance, they would be in the office with the attorney. Upon not finding the vehicle, we went in and made contact with one of their attorneys.
Okay. And without telling us what was said in that conversation, did you find either James or Jennifer Crumbley there?
Did not.
Okay. And at that point in time, they had the same attorney, is that correct?
It's my understanding, yes.
Okay. And so would that have been before noon on December the 3rd or after noon, December the 3rd?
It was afternoon.
Okay, so after they were charged?
Yes.
All right. And backing us up a little bit in the timeline, it was after that the vehicle belonging to one of the defendants was recovered?
Yes, several hours later.
Several hours later. Okay, thank you. Later that evening, Friday, December 3rd, what did you learn?
That the vehicle was located in the parking lot in the business in Detroit.
Okay, so another vehicle belonging to either James or Jennifer Crumbley was located in Detroit?
Right.
All right. Tell us what happened next.
At that point, I left one person sitting on the vehicle in Auburn Hills, just by chance they came back to it. And the rest of the team and myself went to Detroit to attempt to locate them somewhere in the area of the vehicle.
Okay. The law enforcement personnel involved in this endeavor, was it contained to just the 7 of you?
No, sir.
Okay. Tell us what you encountered when you went to the location where the vehicle was found.
Originally, when we got there, there were several Detroit police officers that had the street blocked and had the car secured in the parking lot. As we searched the area, because we had no idea whether they had walked away from the car, they were in the building, we didn't know at that point. So we were searching the area. More and more law enforcement officers arrived. Officers from the U.S. Marshals arrived to assist us, the Border Patrol, the Michigan State Police, more Detroit Police, all arrived on scene.
Okay. After the exterior of the location was searched, and I take it no one was found then?
Correct.
Okay. What happened next?
We formulated a plan to begin searching the building. It was a 3-story industrial building. We had several officers on site, so at that point we decided to begin going room to room and search the entire building.
Okay. I'm going to show you what's been admitted as People's Exhibit 307. This is a photograph, sir. Do you recognize what's in this photograph?
I do.
And tell us how.
That is the industrial building where the vehicle was located in the parking lot.
Okay. So the parking lot would be behind this chain link fence to the right of the photograph?
Correct.
Okay. And did you and your team participate in the physical search of the interior of this building?
We did.
Okay. And now contained to the interior of the building, again, was it just the 7 of you or other law enforcement personnel involved as well?
Oh, several law enforcement officers.
All right, tell us about that, please.
The plan was formulated that the Detroit Police Department would search the first floor of the building. The rest of the teams that were there, we took on the task of searching the 2nd and 3rd floor of the building.
Okay. Now, was this done in secret or was this out in the public as far as the knowledge?
Oh, no, it was very obvious, very apparent. There was dozens and dozens of officers. We went room to room. At some point, we had obtained keys to some of the rooms. When we had those keys, we were able to unlock the door, announce our presence, go in and search every place in the room that could potentially hide a human being. Other rooms, we did not have keys for, and we were forced to force our way into those rooms.
When you say force our way into the rooms, can you describe what that looks like?
Yeah, there are several tools that are used to what's called breach or force a door open. There's a long Halligan type pole like a fireman would use. You jam it into the door frame and pry the door back and get the lock to sometimes pop. If that doesn't work, we have a 35-pound battering ram, and we will batter the door lock mechanism until the door opens.
Okay. Is that a quiet endeavor or is that loud?
Oh, it's very noisy.
So specific to the 3 floors in what's the building depicted here in 307, which areas did you and your team search?
The second and third floor.
And was anybody located in those searches?
Not on the second or third floor.
Okay. At some point, were you made aware that James and his wife were found on the first floor?
Yes.
Were you involved in the actual breaching of that room and the arrest?
No, that was handled by the Detroit SWAT team, I believe, handled that.
Okay, they had already been assigned to the first floor?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And tell us what happened after that occurred.
As soon as the SWAT team entered that room and searched it and discovered the Crumbleys in that room, they were taken into custody by Detroit, and then they were turned over to my team, who took custody of them and transported them back up here to Oakland County.
Okay, do you recall the approximate time that occurred?
Probably 1:30, 1:15, somewhere. It was after 1 o'clock in the morning.
In the morning, so we're talking Saturday, December the 4th.
Yes, sir.
And is James Crumbley in court today?
He is.
Can you please point and describe something he's wearing today?
Gray suit and headphones.
Your Honor, would record reflect the identification of the defendant?
The record will so reflect.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Cross.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Your involvement began on December 2nd of 2021, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You were out of town on November 30th. Is it safe to say you were aware of the shooting that occurred at Oxford High School on November 30th prior to your involvement?
Yes.
Now, your involvement was as the sergeant of the Fugitive Apprehension Team.
Correct.
It's also called FAT, is that correct?
Correct.
You testified that unit is responsible for locating people with felony warrants or wanted for serious crimes.
Correct.
Your unit did not get involved in all felony warrant arrests, is that fair?
I'm not sure I understand.
Sure. All felony warrant arrests in Oakland County, your unit did not go and arrest everybody who has a felony warrant. Is that fair?
That's fair.
Okay. And your unit did not get involved with all crimes that people were arrested for. Is that fair?
That's fair.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
And let me clarify.
What the fuck? Someone.
So we
hey,
know, and we heard some
the Dow
testimony
made a
previously
quick
that
appearance.
There was a warrant issued by the
You guys
court,
got your
correct?
investment news there
In
real
this
quick?
case, correct?
Full service. That's what we are here.
And-
Full service.
Based on your experience, you were a law enforcement officer for 34 years. You were a detective for a number of years. You know that somebody who's accused of a crime and charged can walk themselves into a court, correct?
Correct.
With or without an attorney, right?
Correct.
And that includes for felonies.
Correct.
Their attorney, you're aware that there have been times where their attorney has arranged, sometimes with the detective, sometimes with the prosecutor's office, in various ways. Their attorney can arrange for them to be turned in to the court or the police department on a specific day and time. Is that fair?
Sure.
The other ways are involving your former unit.
Correct.
And that's done by law enforcement. The attorneys don't call you up and say, hey, can you come get my client? That's the police who say, go get this person.
Correct.
And then obviously other agencies can get involved with our other arrests as well. Is that fair?
Yes.
In this situation, your involvement was requested prior to Mr. Crumbley being charged.
Yes.
You testified that your involvement was December 2nd of 2021.
Yes.
You were contacted, and I don't know if this was clear, you were contacted by Lieutenant Willis.
Yes.
He contacted you on December 2nd of 2021 and asked you to locate James and Jennifer Crumbley.
Yes.
Now, did you learn as part of your involvement or as part of getting that initial information that there were some concerns? Well, let me go back. You're aware that after the Oxford High School shooting that people were scared. Is that fair? I'm talking people in general.
Possibly, I would assume.
Angry?
Sure,
upset?
sure,
It was very public what had happened on November 30th of 2021.
yes,
The shooter's name became public shortly after the shooting.
yes.
If you recall, and you may not know, but if you don't know, please say you don't know, that Mr. and Mrs. Crumbley's residence was made public.
That I don't.
Did you learn during your involvement in this case that there were some concerns over the safety of James and Jennifer Crumbley because they were the parents of the Oxford High School shooter?
I was never made aware of that.
So all you were made aware of was that James and Jennifer Crumbley needed to be located.
Yes,
And the first place you went was their residence.
yes,
They weren't there.
correct.
You eventually determined and learned that they had been at a hotel in Auburn Hills from November 30th to December 3rd, the morning of December 3rd.
I'm not sure if they were there that entire time, but that's where we ended up finding the vehicle, was at that hotel.
And did you also learn through your involvement that they registered at that hotel in Jennifer Crumbley's name?
I don't specifically remember whose name it was.
So you began looking for James and Jennifer Crumbley before they were formally charged.
Correct.
Now, I assume in your career you've been involved in what would be considered high profile or media cases, is that correct?
Yes,
And oftentimes in those cases, is it standard practice for your department to take someone into custody before the actual charges are announced?
depends on the crime and the circumstances surrounding
Your department often, and correct me if I'm wrong, but your department will often assume that a high profile case or a serious offense that somebody might run.
it. It is a possibility, people do.
You had no information that James Crumbley had indicated that he was going to run away or flee or anything like that. Is that fair? On December 2nd of 2021.
That's fair.
You were aware that James and Jennifer Crumbley did not have their phones after November 30th of 2021 because they had been either given to or taken by law enforcement, but law enforcement had them in their possession.
Yes,
Did you also learn during your early involvement in this case or at any point that James and Jennifer Crumbley had obtained track phones or pay-as-you-go phones or things like that?
yes,
And did you learn during your involvement in this case that those phones were obtained because James and Jennifer wanted to be able to contact family in the early days after the shooting?
I was not aware of the reason behind obtaining those phones.
Did you also learn during your involvement in this case that James and Jennifer Crumbley obtained additional phones in the same phone number of the phones that were given to law enforcement?
I did learn that, but I don't remember at what point in our investigation I learned.
Said that charges were formally announced at approximately noon on December 3rd of 2021.
That's my understanding.
You do not know whether or not James and Jennifer knew that those charges had been formally announced. Is that fair?
That's fair.
You said that you went to James and Jennifer's attorney's office and you talked to an attorney.
I did.
That was not me, correct?
It was not.
Some hours later, you were notified that that one of their vehicles was located in a business parking lot in Detroit.
Correct.
It was not a parking garage, is that fair?
Yes.
It was not underground parking.
No.
It was not indoor parking.
No.
It was in a gated parking lot. We can see the fence in the photo, correct?
Correct.
There weren't boxes or branches or anything covering their vehicle. Their vehicle was in the parking lot.
Correct.
And at some point during your involvement between December 2nd and December 3rd, were you also made aware that there were going to be some attempts to do an alternative to what we talked about earlier when it comes to turning somebody in, that Mr. Crumbley may be walking himself in to be arraigned on the warrant after he'd been made aware of it, if you recall those conversations?
I had conversations with an attorney, but I'm not sure what I can go in.
Yes, and I'm not asking you about the details of the conversation, just if you had some knowledge that there was an indication that Mr. Crumbley was not running, but that he was in fact going to turn himself in. Again, without giving.
Yeah.
Judge, I object to this whole line of questioning. I think it's getting close to speculating with the purpose of what a hearsay conversation would be, and it could open the door to other things.
Well, yeah, are you gonna open the door to that?
I can move on, Judge. At no point during your involvement in this case were you told James Crumbley is absolutely avoiding these charges and will not be turning himself in. At no point were you told that.
There's the same question, same objection to the same question, just asked differently.
Well, and who is he being told that by?
It could be anybody, Your Honor. His involvement was requested by Lieutenant Willis. He had multiple police officers involved. There were multiple people involved in allegedly, or in locating Mr. Crumbley. I'm just asking if he was ever given knowledge that was going to happen.
Just as a response, he's testified to what his job was. He was given an assignment and he carried it out.
Well, I don't know, I guess you gotta be careful what you wish for, right?
Thank you, Judge.
Yeah, you know.
You indicated that the building where Mr. Crumbley's vehicle was a quote unquote 3-story industrial building, as I believe what you called it.
Yes.
That was exhibit 307, which is on the screen. In that building, obviously from the outside, it looks kind of like a warehouse. Would you agree with that?
Sure.
But you learned during your involvement that there were multiple tenants in that building.
Yes, multiple suites.
Right.
Or rooms.
Businesses.
Jay and I
Yeah.
see both chats.
People.
Yeah,
who were
I can see
regularly
that.
in and
I
out of
thought
that
this whole
building.
time we were responding to both
That I
chats.
can't answer to. It was very late.
Me
There
too.
was nobody in and out.
So apparently we can
Did
see
you learn
both
during your
chats
involvement
in
that there were
StreamYard,
people
but
in and out during
my
the day that
responses
day?
only go to my chat and your responses only go to your chat,
Not
which
at
is
the time I
so
was
kind of
dumb.
annoying.
And you may not be the right witness to
Fucking
ask these
stupid.
questions of. I'm just trying to
So
determine.
y'all, I
what
haven't
exactly
been
you knew
ignoring you.
about
I've been
this building.
answering you,
Yeah, at
but
that
it's in
point,
my
at
chat.
that hour of the night, there was nobody coming in and out. And we wouldn't have allowed anybody to come in or out anyway.
And you learned in going into the building that there was an option for interior parking. Did you learn that?
I don't recall there being any interior parking, like a parking garage, if that's what you mean.
Right. Like a way to pull a vehicle in through a garage and park it inside instead of out in the lot.
There was a loading dock, so I guess technically you could have pulled a car inside of there, but I did not see, it was not a designated indoor parking structure.
Right. So not like a parking garage or those underground parking like we were talking about earlier.
Correct.
Okay. Your testimony was that it was obvious and apparent what was going on outside of and in that building during your search of the building, correct?
Yes.
Now, you can't say, because you really have no idea what James Crumbley heard or saw that night, correct? On December 3rd of 2021, or the early morning hours of December 4th of 2021.
I can only tell you what I saw and heard, and the commotion, the law enforcement officers, the flashing lights from the police cars. But specifically as to what he saw and heard, I can't tell you.
Right. You have no knowledge of whether or not he saw or heard any of that. Is that fair?
Yeah.
You were not part of the assembly after entry was made by DPD's SRT unit, correct?
Correct.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Okay.
Thank you. Sir, who were you given this assignment by?
Lieutenant Willis.
Okay. And you were asked to locate James Crumbley on December the 2nd, not arrest him on December the 2nd. Is that correct?
Correct.
And that's not uncommon for an officer in charge to contact the fugitive apprehension team to locate a suspect, is it?
No, that's not a comment at all.
Okay. And the goal as a member of the fugitive apprehension team is a peaceful surrender?
Yes,
Okay. Is that why you reached out to Mr. Crumbley's attorneys?
absolutely.
Okay. And there were no arrangements made to you to turn the defendant in on Friday, December the 3rd, were there?
No.
Nothing.
All right, you can step down in your excuse.
Thank you.
Thank you. This one's please.
Luke Curley,
Guys, just if you're missing what me and Bob just realized is we could both see both chats, and we've both been responding to like both chats, and we didn't realize it's only showing up on each of our chat. So sorry. About
Right.
that, guys.
So, like, I've been saying hi to everybody as they come in and they're not seeing it. They must be like, God, what a dick. That Bob guy's a real jerk off. And so, like, Jay's response is, I'm assuming you guys are not seeing in our chat. Yeah, just for the record, like, the dual streaming thing's like a new feature. So, like, Jay and I are going to have to figure out but Jay, my clad says on one screen that she's seeing both of our responses. So I don't know if it's like a setting.
That's weird. I wonder if is this the student? I guess this is the student now. Let me rewind this.
Can I call you Luke?
Yes.
He's got a serious beard. Oh, he just fixed his hair. See him fix his butt, Jay?
I did.
Look at that. Let's watch it one more time. Here, get ready for it. Wait for it. Wait for it. Oh, nice. He's like, I'm on camera. Shit.
Good morning. Can I call you Luke?
Yes.
We're just
Swiffer, it's Defense Diaries podcast. That's the page, and we'd love to have you subscribe. Be super appreciative.
Thank you, Kelly.
Luke,
Kelly
can
Bowbelly.
you tell the jury
That
what
kind of
you
adds
do
up.
for a living?
Sure. I own a coffee company called Coffee House. We roast and import coffee here in Detroit.
And
Oh, Mike Ladd has two screens up.
do you do any? Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Do you do anything else with? You have a store. Do you sell coffee from and
Yes, we sell to about 100 different businesses around Metro Detroit. So coffee, tea, products like that. And
Let me be clear. I love you guys. Both Bob and I love both of you guys. We just didn't know.
We love you very, very much. I just thought that everybody was seeing everything. So if you guys want to see all my answers, just head over to our chat and vice versa. The proof's in the pudding.
In Detroit.
in Detroit? And can you tell the jury about what area that is in Detroit?
Yeah, so it's in a neighborhood called Island View, which is like mostly industrial buildings. It's basically situated a block off of where Belle Isle is located. So generally East Detroit is kind of the consideration here.
Okay. And
Jay, did we figure out is
draw
this
your
the
attention
student?
to
No, he's the
November
coffee
30th
shop
of
owner
2021.
that where they found the car, I guess, in the
Was your
parking
business
lot.
at that location at that time?
Yes.
And
He looks like a
Were-
coffee shop owner.
were
guy,
you
doesn't he?
residing near or
Yeah.
around your business?
Yeah.
Yeah, at the time I was.
Dude, your
living
hair
on-
looks fine.
maybe a
Calm
mile
down.
away, pretty close. Though.
Calm
Okay.
down.
And-
Your hair's fine.
Let's just take a moment and can you tell the jury what this building is, how much of the space you occupy and what it's used for?
Sure. So it's a industrial building that was built in around the 1920s. Originally, they built like pickup trucks or something.
This guy
there,
is
but,
literally
now
making his
the owner
Instagram
has
commercial
basically different,
short for his coffee business
so
right
we
now. That's what's
occupy
happening.
About 3,000 square feet in the building. I'd say there's probably 5 to 10 different tenants who rotate in and out every now and then. The building itself is basically split up into like 1 to 2,000 square foot units itself. So at any time, I'd say there's on average 10 tenants in that building at any given time.
And are they all the same type of tenants?
No, all completely different people. Like our neighbors, they like breed rare plants,
Okay.
tons of different stuff.
All right. And on the first floor, is that where you are?
Yes.
All
correct.
right.
Mhm.
Who else is on the
Dude,
first floor?
your
So
hair is
there's the
fine.
rare
Quit
plant,
touching your hair.
place. And then there's somebody who packages like fine art.
I mean, you could use a
There
haircut,
is
if we're being
there's a
honest.
painter who,
He's got a good head of hair,
does
though,
some
Jay?
obvious work. And then I think that's it for us on the first floor. I don't know if there was somebody else in there at the time, but I think it was just that floor.
Okay. How do you enter well, we just heard testimony that they're about parking. Our former witness wasn't sure. Can you tell the jury whether there was parking within or outside of the building?
Yeah, so you can park in three, I would say, designated areas for the building. There's one on one side of the building. There's another on the other side, and both of those entrances are gated. So you have like a little, fob to open the gate, garage opener.
Each tenant has a fob?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say every single one does, but usually if you ask, the property manager can approve that and give you one.
Next
And
hair
then people
touch
generally
in
park on the street
15
as well.
seconds.
Now
15
there's like
seconds.
a dirt lot across the street that people park, but at the time of this, that was
not their land, so.
And
three
was,
general spots.
was there indoor parking?
No, there's not designated indoor parking, though, some tenants have garages.
Okay,
where-
let me ask it a different way, because it's relevant to what was
Sure.
happening that night. Do you use that building space for anything other than just your business?
So on the third floor of the building at the time, I used our garage storage area to put one of my cars away.
All right,
Mhm.
and just briefly, because it relates,
Yeah.
what's your relationship with cars?
Okay, so, I just,
Your
I'm
Honor,
a
I
general.
would object to the relevance. Your Honor,
Yeah,
if I could just.
Sir, do you have delicious
Thank you.
dark roast coffee available
In
at
a
your
moment,
shop?
I'm going to ask him about
Why, yes,
identifying the
I do.
car
Thank
and
you for
how he was
asking.
able to identify that car. I think most people wouldn't have been able to, so I'm just trying to lay a foundation.
Well, based on my knowledge of previous testimony, I'm going to allow that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
He does
So
have
I'm
a
just
flock
general
of
car
seagulls
enthusiast. I think I've
to
been
butt a
obsessed
whip in.
with cars
Patricia,
ever since I was a
good call.
kid. And at the time, I had 2 or 3 cars, and one of them,
And
it was a nicer one, so I
ran,
put it away. You know, I
ran
didn't
so
leave it on the street
far.
where my house was because I had street parking. So I had one of my cars that got like hit. You know, the mirror got pulled off, so I obviously didn't want that to happen to a nicer car. So on the third floor, we have a garage, and so I pull that in during the nighttime or anytime I don't plan on enjoying it, driving it.
Okay,
when then I
so,
can drive my work.
all right, thank you. So is there any was there any vendor type businesses in that building? And the reason I ask is it a place where customers would come and park and open to the public? In the building?
I would say that it's generally not like a public building. There's not present retail in the building. There's not like, for example, our roastery doesn't have a coffee shop or any cafe component. It's strictly like a business for manufacturing.
And when you switched the car that night, do you remember, did you go and were you at the warehouse that night at later in the evening?
Yes.
Do you remember about what time it was?
Probably around 10 p.m.
And is that something you would routinely do at night because of the situation with your cars, or is Objection, that? Your Honor, meeting.
Yeah, I typically light up a
just
huge
got to
joint
get out,
and
or
walk
so that
around the
wouldn't be a
warehouse,
leading question.
Why were you there that night?
get the orders for the next day ready.
Okay, all right.
There you go,
So,
Mag. Great minds.
Talk to me or tell the jury what, if anything, you knew about the Oxford shooting or the Crumbleys that
Sure.
evening.
Yeah, so I was generally aware of obviously the news that had happened. You know, I read the news about the shooting, which I think everybody in Michigan really kind of heard what had happened at that point. Early in the day, I remember seeing a poster about the parents being on the run. And
Okay,
so,
you're gesturing your hand, and when you say poster, and first, do you remember, was that November 30th of what day was that?
I assume it was the same day that this happened.
Okay,
Earlier
well,
in the
let
day.
me back up.
Sure.
The same day that they were charged, or the same day that the event happened? Objection, Your Honor. I don't think that there's been testimony that Mr. Kirtley is aware of when they were charged.
Okay, well, I think she's trying to, he said the same day that this happened, so she's clarifying if he means the
David.
encounter.
David. This guy blazes
Oh,
daily, multiple
Do you
times a
remember
day.
the
I promise
actual
you.
day that this occurred that night?
The 30th of November, I believe.
That was
He's
the
probably
shooting.
got
Do you
like
remember the
small
date?
buds of
What
weed
date it
in
was?
that
If
beard
I said
somewhere.
December 3rd, does that make sense to you?
It seems correct. I don't know like if I remember it off the top of my head the exact date.
Backing up, you were motioning to your
Shannon
hand and
gets
saying
more edible
poster, and
vibes.
what
So,
are-
I saw
I don't
my
think those two things are mutually
and what did
exclusive.
you see?
So it was a
I think you
poster,
can smoke
it was
flower
a-
and eat edibles
essentially like
both.
a wanted poster. So there were pictures of the parents, a picture of the car.
Agree,
The
Missy.
license plate was on there.
This guy's got his grinder.
I think just general
Likes to
information
grind his
about
shit,
what had happened.
roll up his fatties.
Were you aware that law enforcement was looking for the Crumblies?
Yes.
And do you remember about what time?
I could definitely see
arrived
him being a
that-
pen
that
guy.
evening?
Poke.
Around
Or
10.
pokey mom.
And tell the jury what, if anything, you saw when you entered the parking space. Is it, well, first of all, when you go there at that time of day, is there usually anybody in the parking lot?
Not really. There's a couple tenants who like leave their
Oh,
cars
there's
there.
Art with Viv.
There's
What's
like
up?
a work van from the
Oh,
work
word.
company.
We didn't see
but
Viv
generally,
yesterday,
there's
did
not
we?
like many vehicles that hang out.
I don't think so.
Okay, so you drive into the parking lot and what do you see?
So originally,
I mean-
so I drove into, if you're facing the front of the building, I always park on the
Weed's
right
legal
side,
in
so there's
Illinois,
two lots left.
as it is in Michigan.
And I just have a fob for the right lot. It's two different ones. So I pulled in, was just doing my thing. Generally, there's some cars there. So, you know, when I saw this car that was backed into the spot in the
Oh
front,
yeah, he definitely
originally I didn't pay
microdoses.
any mind
He's
to it.
very well
Okay,
adjusted.
when you say
You
this
can tell he's
car,
happy,
what do
not
you mean?
depressed.
So you
Sure,
drove in, you did
Definitely
see a car?
microdoses.
I did
sure.
see a car. Yeah.
Okay, can
And
you tell the
so,
jury where it was?
yep, so it's backed in the, it was like if I'm facing the front of the lot, it's a rectangular lot, and it was in the back right corner. So probably the furthest spot from the building entrance in theory.
And was it backed in with the front out or was it the other
It
way?
was backed in with the front out.
Okay. And what else did you see?
So I saw that car there, but originally, you know, didn't pay too much attention to it, and then walked into the building. And then when I walked out of the building, was when I was really kind of like met face to face with the front of the car.
Yeah, Kelly, you're
And
right.
that's when I remember.
He doesn't sell. He
because
doesn't have a
original
coffee
post I
shop
saw,
proper. He just
you
sells
know,
bulk
being
coffee,
like a car
beans.
enthusiast, I saw that, and it just
Hey,
kind of stuck
Viv.
with me. It was like a newer Kia, so I had just not seen that car in person before. So like when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's a new Kia. And when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's like that new Kia. You know,
So
like
you can tell by looking at the front of the car, it was a new Kia?
yeah. So if you looked at the like poster, it was like that stock image of the car. You know, you see like on websites and everything. So it's obviously the front of the car, and it was this. I believe it was the same exact color too, on the poster. So when I saw it, I was like, oh, like I remember where I saw this from.
Okay, one moment here.
Oh, he remembers. So Jay, this is what it looks like when somebody really, really enjoys testifying. This is what it looks like. I'm not sure I've ever seen a
All right, so
happier
what did
witness
you-
than this guy.
What did you do next when you came out?
He's pretty happy.
Yeah. So when I saw the car, and I was like, okay, that's. I remember seeing that. I pulled up the poster on my phone, and when I was doing that, I was walking to the back of the car to check the plate because I remember seeing the plate on the actual, poster. And so,
All right, somebody pull up
I
Luke
walked around the car
Kirtley's
with my
Instagram
flashlight
account
on,
and let's
and
see
then
how many
I already have
followers
it
he
up.
gains.
when I saw
I already
the
have it
license
up.
plate on the ad,
Coffee. Well, I have his
and was
coffee
standing in
shop.
front of the license plate too.
12,000.
But yeah, so basically, I had pulled up the wanted poster and subsequently was walking around the car.
And
with
did the license
my
plate match?
It did.
And
Shannon,
did you
I think
see
he's
anything else of
just happy to be here in general. you know.
So when I was
He's
looking
like-
at the back of the car, I had
he's
then
collateral,
noticed, there was a
meaning he
person
wasn't a
sitting
part of the
next to
shooting,
car. There's
so
like an elevated
he's
curb
totally
that kind of
advertising
sits
for his
behind where this
business.
car was, and it's like protects the little garden area. And so somebody was sitting on the curb with their hood up. It was like a blue plaid hoodie, and I didn't, when I was walking to the car, I didn't see anybody, and also it was dark, so I wasn't expecting to see anybody really. I thought it was just a car at that time.
Did you say
So-
anything or did that individual see anything?
Jay,
No,
he's wearing the
they
controversial
stayed,
middle
turned
finger
around,
ring.
With their
He's got
hood
the
up.
middle
I saw
finger
that, and
ring
then
on,
I turned
Jay.
my flashlight off and headed back to the
I
building.
see that.
Okay.
That's controversial.
What
man.
did you do next?
It is. It's very controversial
so
on
I
both
walked into
hands,
the building,
no less.
I quickly, briskly headed into my unit, locked all the doors. The lights were off.
The
at the time,
bird
so I kept
rings,
the lights off
you know, the
all
bird
night.
rings.
Okay. I'm going to show
Oh,
you
I gotcha.
what's been marked as Exhibit
Yeah.
302.
Come on, man, keep up.
Well, I'm looking at
And,
his. He's very
this is
serious about his
the
coffee.
security footage from your building.
Oh,
How many
here's
cameras
some
did you
footage.
know there's a building have?
All
I
right.
don't know. It's off the top of my head exactly.
As you
but
can
I
see
tell you
over to the
there's,
left there, that is
one
my
in, like,
light
the center
roast,
lobby area, kind of like
which
the
we have
general
available in
promenade
7
where
different
most people
varieties:
congregate.
Colombian,
There is one on the side of the
Nicaraguan.
building, one or two on this side that we're talking about, one on the front, maybe another one on the other side, but I don't have them memorized.
Okay. So we're going to start this at 22:56, which the actual time is 10:34 p.m. And what are we looking at here, Luke?
So
That's where I grind my coffee.
The parking lot that I park my car in. And so this is when I was talking earlier about facing the front of the building and looking backwards. This is
What are those things?
furthest
Air conditioning
from
units?
the front of the building,
Okay, stop.
but this is attached to the building.
Who is that right there?
I assume that this is the person that I saw in the blue plaid hoodie.
Oh,
Okay.
oh boy.
In
Looks like a
this
Crumbley
photo,
sighting.
where is the front, the entrance that you would have gone in?
So where they just walked out of, so on the
Okay.
right side of the screen.
And eventually we're gonna see you pull in. Will we see that at the top of the screen?
Yes.
Okay. Is that your car?
There,
I
there he
see.
is.
So I'll know once I see the roof rack on it. But it time checks out.
Irene, your granny knew. She knew. I don't need that dark roast shit.
Do you see
Nice
the
little light
can
roast.
that you spotted in this?
Coffee
image?
flavored
Yeah,
water.
on the left side there.
Okay, it's kind of hard to see. Okay. Is that your car?
Yes.
And are you parking right in front of the entrance?
Jay,
I mean,
Daryl's
not,
in the house.
directly in front of the door, but
Daryl's in
you
the
know,
house, Jay.
One of the
two
close
spots.
parking
Yes.
spots? Okay.
Cat Grow's a medium roast fan, Jay. It's keeping you up to date, bro.
I'm a blonde roast guy myself.
I bet you are, my friend. I bet you are.
Blonde, the darker the roast, the less caffeine. I don't know if folks know that.
Is that true?
That's
The darker
what I
the
understand.
roast, the
Is
less
that
caffeine. I did not know
individual
that. Thank you, Jay.
Yes.
At the right
Well,
of the screen.
So you're saying a light roast has way more caffeine than a dark roast?
That's what I understand it to be.
All right, so listen.
We need to ask this. We need to ask the witness, though.
Yeah, can we somehow get this guy
And is that
like
going
on
back
the
into the building?
phone
Okay,
after he's
what's
done
happening?
testifying, please? Izzy, make it happen.
Did you go out to your car to look at the car?
No, I think that when I think this is when I just first noticed the car. Like I think I just saw myself look over and just,
Thank you, Christy.
I was probably just grabbing something on my back.
All right, and that's you right there?
Yes.
Are you holding anything?
My phone.
So there you go, Irene. Your granny was getting lit on caffeine with her light roast.
And for the record, this is around 23:04, which is actually 10:42 p.m. And are you walking at the same pace or a different pace than you?
Maybe a little-
irrelevant.
Maybe a little quicker.
I'm eliciting
Jay Downey
just
likes
general
post roast.
testimony from a fact witness about what he observed.
Post roast delicious.
Thank you. So why are you walking at a faster pace?
Probably I mean, there's probably a lot of emotions going on at that specific time. You know, at the time when I first went to the car, I didn't expect to see anybody. So when I did, I was like, okay, I want to get safe inside.
Okay, and we're going to play exhibit 303, which is the 911 call. And were you feeling any emotions during that call?
Yeah, definitely, for sure. That's something that I feel like, well, I've personally never experienced before, is like that type of connecting the dots like that. And I hope everybody else doesn't.
Okay.
It's a lot.
All right.
Call on Friday, December 3rd, 2021, 10:43 and 14 seconds p.m.
Detroit 911, what is the address of the emergency?
1111 Bellevue Street.
Repeat the address for verification.
1111 Bellevue Street.
What's the part cross street?
Lafayette and Bellevue.
Tell me exactly what happened.
The people the parents of the shooter that are running away, they're here.
Sir, I'm not sure what you're referring to. You have to be more specific. Tell me exactly what happened at the location, what's going on now.
Okay, so the Oakland shooter, the kid, has the two parents that are on the run right now, and it says, Oakland County said, call if you see anything. And I just went to go park my car and switch it around at my office and at my office. And there was a Kia that looked like their car. And I walked around and checked their license plate, and it's their car, and the woman is here, and that's next to the car.
The woman is where?
Sitting next to her car in the parking lot.
She's standing next to her vehicle on the ground or in another vehicle?
On the ground. On the ground.
Okay, and what kind of vehicle is this, sir?
It's a 2021 Kia, the black Kia SUV in the parking lot.
Was anyone inside of the vehicle?
I don't know.
You said if you walked around the vehicle and looked inside, you didn't?
I walked back to look at the license plate because I saw online that that car was matching.
Do you have the plate number?
1 second. It's DQG5203.
Repeat that plate for me.
DQG5203.
Okay. And the vehicle was parked in a parking lot and the mother is on?
Yes. It's next to my car in the parking lot. I'm inside my office now.
And the mother is sitting on the ground. What is she wearing?
Yeah. She's wearing a hoodie, but I don't know what kind.
What color is the hoodie?
I don't know. I think it was plaid, but I saw her for a glimpse and I ran inside because I like my
So you're not sure what color the hoodie was, but you've seen her sitting there?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's your name?
Luke.
Okay, Luke. We'll be in this in that area. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, I can't believe it. They're here.
Okay.
Looks like doesn't this fucking like 911 woman understand that I just broke this fucking case wide open? What the fuck is going on with this lady?
Look at him. He's enjoying himself. He's enjoying his
Thank you.
Okay.
He was super disappointed when she's like, "Sir, I have no idea what you're talking about."
As soon as I got my office.
Yeah, the shooter's parents are
And I
here.
want to go back
Sir,
to the
what?
previous video and finish that to show what happened after you went inside.
Yes.
I started texting all my friends. I found the shooter's parents, dudes. Dude, guess what? You're never gonna fucking believe this. Dude, I found the shooter's parents. They're here by the shop. Oh, he's super proud of himself, Jen. You could tell. Just like a peacock strutting around. Whoop.
That's you, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We hope he does, Miranda. Or Jessica.
And what is that, if you know?
That
Who
was
is
the
that?
person that I saw walking into the building. And so if you asked me at the time that somebody was going to be walking in behind me, I would have told you no way. You know, the building there's fobs for every door. But like I said, you know, it's not a public building. And so when the officers came by, they asked me, you know, I was like, oh, they probably took off somewhere. My confidence in them being inside of the building was, you know, like,
You did not think they were inside, whoever that was?
correct. Yeah, I definitely didn't think that they were right behind me.
Okay. In the call, you stated you referred to the individual as female and
Mhm.
she.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the person's face?
No, I didn't. They were turned to their back. I think it was just like generally the figure of the person that I saw, more or less.
Okay. What happened after you called 911?
Ooh, Mike Platt, I think it's a
you can
bad
see an
business
officer on
model.
top right, getting there.
So that's
Don't want to
pretty
name
quick.
your
A few minutes?
Yeah, a couple
Longer than
minutes.
that?
It
coffee
wasn't too
after a
bad,
school shooter, I don't think.
especially for Detroit response time.
Okay.
So when you come, or I came out and actually met them out there because I saw their lights. If it wasn't the siren, it was like one of their floodlights.
And
But I saw
when you
somebody.
came out of the building, did you know where the individual was?
No,
Okay.
I did not. I assumed at the time they probably just took off.
All
You
right.
know, I was, to be honest, I was surprised that the car was still even there. I thought they
Okay.
would've
All right.
left.
At some point, did more than just one officer arrive?
Yeah, so I think it was one or two SWAT cars that showed up originally, and then so there's the second one right there. So
Seems
I
like a
walked
sweet
them
guy,
through the
actually.
building to get into the parking lot because the parking lot is closed. And I think once they kind of confirmed that the car was correct, that's when a lot more people showed.
What's a lot?
Oh,
10 plus
Oxford
SWAT
strong.
units.
All right.
Well, that's a good one.
Where
Louis.
did you remain? Well, let me just, at what point was this over to the extent where you went home? How many?
Oh, I was there till like 2 or 3.
Okay, and were you in the building the whole time?
No, I was in the building for probably like an hour. I was in my unit, and then they had questions. I was talking with them a little bit, kind of just like generally floating between the front of the building and then inside my office. And then I got into a squad car and they took me to what they called like a command post or something like that, where it was like a couple blocks away. They had set up like a central command, like HQ for other officers and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'd totally hang with this guy. Play code names.
The individuals were taken in custody?
Yeah, like way late in the night.
Did you learn where they were located?
Yes, I did. They so they actually walked me, like they showed me where it happened afterwards.
Where were they located?
So the painter that I referenced earlier on in this testimony, we shared basically drywall with them, 2 pieces of drywall. So they were right in the unit adjacent to where Ox is.
And that unit that's on the first floor, right?
Mm-hmm. Right, yeah.
Does it have windows in it at all?
It does, yeah.
And are they facing the parking lot? Where are they facing?
So if you're facing the front of the building, my unit is on the right. It faces the right side of the building. And then there's another unit behind ours that also faces right into the parking lot. So this unit would have looked, and I say looked, it's not like a perfectly clear window, it's like frosted, but would have looked.
Irene, is your son a werewolf?
All right. Did the law enforcement that showed up, did they have lights and sirens? Were there any lights? Were there any sounds?
Yeah, tons. And like we're pretty aware of what goes on, just given like the thinness of the walls. There's no insulation between our walls. And then, especially at night, you're aware of any lights that go down the street, anything like
You
that.
mentioned the walls and the thin walls. What do you mean? Do you mean you're aware because of noise or because of what you see?
Yeah, both. For the walls, we hear other units, other people, in the building. Like I know when other people are in the building, for sure. And
just to clear your testimony, they're in the building because you can hear them, or they're in the building because you see them?
Are we talking about the officers or in general?
Hold on, just let me finish my question. This wall you share is what you're trying to say, that you can tell if somebody's in there even if you haven't seen them?
Yeah, you can hear them. If they're making noise.
Okay. And when you were in the building for that hour, was the building being searched, or was law enforcement out in the parking lot?
No, the building is being searched at that time.
And what did you hear, if anything?
So I was in like the front of the building at the time. They were definitely had guns drawn. They were searching the building. They were announcing that they were there. They were definitely making a presence.
Okay. Before this day, which was in December 3rd, I guess it was December late night. But before this occurred, had you ever seen anything discarded or left out in a hallway in the building?
Oh yeah. So in the center promenade that I mentioned earlier about like where the camera is, there's people put people put things to give away there, and then also people like store things there for very short periods of time. At the time, there was like a new Tempur-Pedic mattress that was there, or new to me.
Fido, I see what you did
It
there.
was sitting up against a wall, and it was there for a while because somebody had like taken a note to it that was like, "Can I buy this from you?" Whoever it was.
And how long was it there? Days, weeks?
Days.
Okay.
Yeah.
And why is the mattress significant to you?
So the mattress was taken into the unit, and I saw that afterwards. So when they showed me the unit again, you could see that the mattress was then in there. I don't really know who actually owned the mattress, even to this day.
At some point, did you ever see the mattress again?
Yeah. So then somebody, I don't know who, but somebody took it back out in the hallway, and I think whoever actually owned it didn't want it anymore because it floated around. Like it was sometimes like in front of the unit that they were in, and sometimes in the middle of the hallway, and sometimes like on the floor. Like it was a very it was very agnostic where it was for a while, and then I don't know what happened to it.
Okay, all right. Nothing further. Ross?
Madeline, we might make that happen. I ran into those guys
Morning.
at CrimeCon last year, and we
Morning.
hit it off pretty good.
So, excuse me, just one moment.
Hey, Missy, don't be talking shit about hand talkers.
So
I'm
you
a
went
big-time
to
hand talker.
1111 Bellevue on December 3rd of 2021 at approximately 10.
I just gotta I gotta pause this real quick and share with you because I think it was Morgan M or pointed this out in the chat and I just found it. Check this out, guys. Here's our boy on the stand posting him.
Of course.
Mama,
I mean,
get me this on the
did
left
we
side.
even need to go to his socials to know that shit? Well, like I called that immediately. Like the first thing I said, this guy's prepping for his, his short for Insta. Like that's what it is right there. Yeah,
Sorry
I mean,
about that.
he's reveling. He's reveling in his 15 minutes here. I ain't sweating.
If you say I might ask
I
you to
did
say
that
yes.
last time, sorry.
Okay, that's okay. You said that you described 1111 Bellevue as an industrial building that was once used for manufacturing.
Yeah, in the 1920s.
Right.
So yeah.
On December 3rd of 2021, it was not a manufacturing building.
No, there are individuals, tenants who do different types of manufacturing, like there's a millwork company. We technically manufacture coffee, but they're not manufacturing pickup trucks in the way that they were 100 years ago.
Right. So in the 20s, it was used as basically a truck factory.
As far as I know.
Oh, Jesus, who gives
But
this
on
shit?
December 3rd of 2021, it was a business building.
Correct, yeah.
It was just industrial in style.
Specifically the look of the building.
Right, the look of the building was industrial, but it was not an industrial use building.
I think it's technically zoned industrial still to this day. I don't know if it's zoned mixed
Yeah,
use.
for sure, Mooney.
But
This kid's one of the good
fully
guys.
positive on the regulated.
Sniffed out the parents on the land.
What we agree on is that they're not building pickup trucks, right?
Correct.
It's not abandoned.
Correct.
There were multiple tenants in the building.
Correct.
And there had been multiple tenants for quite some time, for what it sounds like.
At least a couple of years.
Where
I'm glad
you
you did,
roast
Morgan.
coffee is approximately 3,000 square feet. Is that correct?
Yeah, so there's 2,000 square feet on the first floor and an additional 1,000 on the third floor.
Okay, so the 2,000 square feet on the first floor is the space where you share the wall with the artist studio.
Yes, correct.
And then you have the 1,000 square feet on the floor, which is where you keep your cars.
Yeah, at the time, yeah.
Okay. There's also
I'm just going to pause this real quick because this is what bothers me, and we talked about this. There is not, Bob, is there one question she can ask to this witness that changes the fact that the Crumbleys ran away? Like, she's wasting time right now. Why do this? Can she possibly get out of this witness that the jury is going to think, oh, no, they didn't flee? Like, I don't, on this.
Jay, did you not catch my relevance objection there?
I
agree
with you.
completely. This is this is the equivalent to treading water, when you're sitting there just doing the doggy
you can
paddle in
drive
water.
your car in.
Right. It's
in
like
fact,
pointless.
in this video, you can see. I think we can see where your car
Agreed.
is parked, and you can drive your car in to is there like a garage door or
So,
something?
so not in this. So it's on the front of the building. There's a
objection relevance.
garage door.
Okay, and that's how people get to their various garages. Is that?
I would say like there aren't any other garages in the space, but that's how people unload and load cars in there.
Thank you, Tam. I did not know that.
You said that you were
Unless
generally
they're
aware
wearing
of
a
the Oxford High
wedding
School
ring on
shooting
their
on
middle
December.
finger. It's got a fatter knot
November
than
30th
that.
of 2021.
Yeah.
You had seen media reports, I'm sure.
Yes.
You'd read stuff on social media. You said that everyone knew what happened.
Yeah.
The old razzle dazzle.
November 30th of 2021.
Correct.
Prior to December 3rd of 2021, you saw a poster, a wanted poster on social media.
Definitely.
Is that a yes?
Definitely an indica guy.
And
no question.
you saw it the day,
Guy likes to
you
melt
saw it
into
on
the
December
couch.
3rd of 2021.
I believe so.
And that poster had a photo of James and Jennifer Crumbley.
Yes.
Or photos of James and Jennifer Crumbley.
Yes.
A photo of their vehicles.
Yes.
A license plate number.
Yes.
General information about the shooting.
Yes.
It indicated, I think your testimony was, it indicated that they were on the run.
Yes, I think it was more of like a be on the lookout or a wanted poster generally.
There was a reward offer.
Ooh, the Scott Peterson
I
hearing.
don't remember at the time.
Your testimony was that the Kia, which we can see on the left side of the frame, was parked the farthest from the
Me
building
too,
entrance.
Sarah.
Remember
Big
that being your
time. I'm
testimony?
a hybrid guy.
You also testified that
There's
there's
a little bit
actually
of
a
both.
door on the right side of the frame in front of where your car is parked.
Yes, I would say that the main entrance and then the ancillary entrances, I'm speaking mostly in regards to the main entrance of the building, which is on the front.
Okay, so there were multiple entrances to the building.
There are 3 entrances to the building.
Okay, so there wasn't just one way to get in on the front of the building. There was also the door right where your car is parked. And in fact, we
Yes.
watched you walk into that door.
Yes.
You said that you
Objection.
walked
Relevant.
up to the Kia on the left side of the frame. You walked around to the back. We watched you do that, correct?
Yes.
You confirmed the license plate number from what
Yes.
was on the wanted poster on your social media.
Yes.
And then you saw someone sitting next to the car.
Yes.
If you recall, that person was smoking.
I don't recall. I saw that in other news articles and things like that. But I did not say that or see that originally.
Okay.
Jay.
Yo.
Jay, search for that Scott Peterson thing. If we get lucky here,
You said that you didn't
this
expect to
guy's
see
going to
anyone
be the
sitting
last
outside
witness
the car.
before lunch.
Yeah.
We might be able to peep
You
that.
expected
I'd actually like to watch that Scott Peterson
just
hearing,
to have the car there empty.
I think for clarity, I didn't expect to see the car or have the car
which
be,
would mean no lunch for you,
matching
buddy.
the car in
or
the
me.
first place. So there were a lot of unexpected
power
things
through.
happening at that specific time. But that's about it.
You said that you wanted to get safely inside.
Yes.
You assumed that the person that you saw was dangerous.
Yes.
That was based on what you had seen on the news and in media reports.
Yes.
Based on the wanted poster.
Yeah. Maybe not particularly. I wouldn't say that like the poster said armed and dangerous or anything like that. Not 100% positive. But I think generally in a situation like that, I would fear for my safety.
Based on your own personal beliefs about the Oxford High School shooting and what you had heard in the media about James and Jennifer Crumbley.
Yes.
The person sitting outside
People
the
are
car
calling
didn't
for it,
say
Jay.
They
We
did
gotta,
not.
we
They
gotta
didn't
jump to
I'm
the
looking
Peterson.
at-
after this
say,
guy's done.
hey, look away.
Do they know what it's on? 'Cause I'm
No.
searching
They didn't
for
say a
Peterson
word,
and
right?
live,
There was no
and
interaction
no.
between us.
Somebody put it in the. Somebody put it
In
in the
Exhibit
chat.
303, you
pick
called,
up
was your
the
911 call.
Peterson
You recall that you told the 911 dispatcher that the parents were on the run.
Yes.
It's got to be
And
televised.
again, that was information that you had based on what you'd heard in the news and the media and what
Yes.
you'd seen on the wanted poster. The person that you encountered next to the Kia didn't say, hey man, I'm running away. You said there was no encounter
There
at all
was
with that
no
person.
interaction.
Now, right around this timestamp, 2306 on the video, which I believe is about 20 minutes earlier real time.
Mhm.
The prosecutor pointed out that somebody walked across the parking lot after you'd entered the building.
Yes.
That person didn't run after you, correct? From
No,
what you saw in the video?
correct.
They didn't chase you down?
They did not.
Didn't threaten you in any way?
They did not.
You didn't even know that they were there?
I obviously I saw them. I didn't know that they followed me in.
Correct. You didn't know that they walked in after you'd walked into the building?
Correct. I think by the time I was in my unit, I didn't hear the door shut. I didn't know if they like softly closed the door or anything, but I didn't know that they were in it.
You had no knowledge that that person had even entered the building?
Correct.
You then testified that there was about a couple minutes later, we watch, and I'll play the video too. I just want to see. We'll play the video too. A couple minutes after this 2306, or a couple minutes after you called 911, the police showed up.
Correct.
So if you look at the timestamp, right now it's 2306:54.
Mhm.
And then it jumps to 2321. And then we play it for a little while and we see what you believe was a patrol car out there outside the fence, correct?
Yes.
At 2321.
Yes.
So at that point, it had been just shy of about 20 minutes between you entering the building, at some point making a 911 call, and the police showing up.
From this, yeah.
From this video.
I'd say my conception of time was probably a little skewed in that specific moment, just given the heightened senses,
Yeah, and I'm not
Yeah,
asking you to lock
100%.
into the time number in the couple minutes. I'm asking, it actually was not just a couple minutes, it was actually more than a couple minutes. That's all I'm asking.
Sure.
Okay. Now, I thought I heard you say this a couple of times, but I just want to clarify. You said that you were at the building for about an hour after you made your 911 call?
More or less, I'm not 100% positive exactly.
Then you
how
were
long it
driven
was
to a temporary, what you call the command post
for. Yeah. It was
that
like
law
a-
enforcement had set up?
Yeah, correct. I think there were, there was media there. There was more squad cars. There was like a massive blue bus for the police.
And then, and this was the part that I wanted to make sure I heard you say correctly. And then the police took you back to this building and walked you through
Well, my
the
car
scene?
was there, so I had to get my car. And so when I was going through the building to get my car, there were a bunch of police in the building, and they were like, "Oh, this is where they were."
And they allowed you to enter the scene? And
No, I did not enter the scene.
Okay. And that's what I was unclear about, because you testified that you had seen the mattress in the unit after James and Jennifer Crumbley got
Yeah,
arrested.
so when I walk through the center of the building, you have to turn right to exit to access this parking lot that's on the screen. And so to exit that, you have to pass by the door of where they were hiding. And so that door was open, so you can see the mattress.
Okay. Now, you talked about what you heard while you were in the building. You said that you were at the front of the building while the police were searching the building?
Yeah, so like I said, I was generally kind of floating around, because I have two doors on my building or my unit, for example. I have like side doors and the front door. And so I was somewhere between those, or I was outside in the front.
So you know what you heard and saw, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know what you observed on your own.
Yes.
You have no knowledge of what James Crumbley heard or saw while the police were there.
That's correct.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor, just briefly, do people, is there any residential unit, and I guess what I'm asking is, do people sleep at the building?
No, it's within the terms of my lease, at least. And generally, I think it's one boilerplate lease that goes across all of them. Though that is an assumption that it is not allowed, you're not allowed to sleep there.
Oh, okay, thank you. I want to play the video, just a portion of it quickly.
Not again. Yeah, Carol, there's certain witnesses that you don't talk over. This guy ain't that. Like, this is the most irrelevant, boring testimony I've ever heard. So, we get somebody on there that we really need to hear it. We won't talk. But this guy, he ain't that guy.
Your
in my
testimony
opinion.
was that you
I
never
just
saw the
got
front
$20
of this individual,
holla from Jolene.
That's right.
but what
Ooh,
the
$20
actual
holla.
piece of clothing, how did you describe it?
Objection, Your Honor, asked and answered.
How did you describe it? You said something in the 911 call.
I said it was a plaid hoodie.
Okay, do you know what color? Do you remember what color it was?
During the 911 call, I didn't say. I think it might have been blue.
Okay, but you're not sure.
Not 100% positive.
Okay. And now I'm going to show you
Thanks, Diz.
another image. Exhibit 304. First of all, is that the art studio, if you know?
Yeah, I've never been inside of it, but like I said, when you pass to go to the parking lot or leave the parking lot, sometimes the doors open. So I know that there's like paintings in there, and I know the general footprint of the space, just given where it is.
All right.
James Crumbley wearing tube socks?
Did you ever
White tube
see
socks.
James or Jennifer
No,
Crumbley,
dude.
other than
No,
Okay.
only the obviously the scenes of next to the car, but when they were arrested and taken away, I wasn't in the building, or I was at that like command post.
Okay. And can you describe what that individual is wearing that's not the police officer?
It looks like a blue sweatshirt or hoodie of some sort.
White tube socks.
Thank you. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Free recross.
Oh, we got a
Mr.
recross
Curley,
now. Come on.
To your
Oh, you
knowledge,
gotta be shitting me.
James or Jennifer Crumbley were not tenants of 1111 Bellevue,
That's
correct?
correct.
You have no idea if they had any knowledge of what the terms of the lease were, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
No further questions, Your Honor.
But they wouldn't have had a fob because they were.
Oh my God, redirect.
Objection, Your Honor,
He
speculation.
redirect.
As far as you know, they were not a tenant.
That's correct.
Thank you. Maybe be excused.
Yes, you can step down.
Thanks.
Back to your coffee shop, sir. Post this on the
Listen,
gram.
in the scope of the charges, the fleeing and eluding is not James' big issue here. It's an
They
involuntary
have a brief
manslaughter
witness,
thing.
guys.
A brief witness. Oh, it's got to be like a 5-minute witness.
You swear or affirm the testimony.
And their lunch is not there, so the judge agreed.
She's like, our lunch is not here, so
Can you have a seat?
let's go.
Could you state your name for the record? and
I'm not
spell
so
it for
sure he wasn't
listeners?
arrested for
David Metz,
violating the code of conduct in terms of fashion.
Go ahead, Chris.
Thank you. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Doing well, how are you?
Fine, thanks. And tell us, please, how you're employed.
Currently employed with Detroit Police Department.
And how long have you been a police officer with Detroit?
Close to 7.5 years.
Okay. Tell us, please, what's your current assignment?
Currently assigned to the Detroit Special Response Team.
Tell the jury, please, what exactly is the Detroit Special Response Team?
So that is the SWAT team for the Detroit Police Department.
Okay. Tell us, what are some of the responsibilities associated with a team member of the Detroit Police Special Response Team?
Okay, so our primary jobs are barricaded persons, hostage situations, dignitary protection, high-risk search warrant, and fugitive apprehension.
Okay. How often would you say that you engage in these sort of duties?
So I'm close to 60 barricade or hostage situations right now, and I would say a little over 200 warrants right now.
Okay. Is this something that is a SWAT team member or special response team member you do on a daily or weekly basis?
Every day.
And how long have you been a member of the special response team?
Going on 4 years.
4 years, okay. I'd like to direct your attention to about 11:30 p.m. on Friday, December the 3rd, 2021. Do you recall that date and time?
I do.
And were you working or were you called in?
I was called in.
And tell us what that means, please.
So I was probably sleeping at that time. My work phone goes off because we're always on call. So it's blasting. I wake up, you look at your phone, and depending on what you get called in, so that day we were called in for a fugitive apprehension. We're told to report to the base. I reported my base.
The Detroit Police Special Response Team base?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then what do you do there?
Then I gather all my equipment up. So, you grab your rifle, your body armor, your belt, anything you need for your objective for the night.
Okay. Were you told at that point why you were being called in specifically?
We knew we were going for 2 fugitives.
Okay. And so you got to the base and then you obtained your gear?
Correct.
And what happens next?
Then I was loaded onto the Bearcat, which is our smaller armored vehicle. And then we go from there to our assigned address.
Okay. So if I understand you correctly, there are other members of the special response team with you at the base at that point?
Yes, sir.
And you said we loaded on the Bearcat, so that means other members loaded onto the vehicle as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you recall how many?
I would say around 6.
6? Okay. And you traveled together to the location you were called for?
Yes, sir.
Would that be 1111 Bellevue in Detroit?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So give us an idea sort of where this location is.
So the closest geographic I would say would be like Belle Isle.
Okay.
Go like Belle Isle and then west off of Jefferson, like the closest I can describe it.
Now, do you recall approximately what time you would have arrived there?
It was late. I know we called late, like almost 12. And
12 is at midnight?
12 midnight, correct. So I would say it took me about 20 minutes to get from my house to the base, and then after loading the equipment up, probably about 20, 25 minutes from our base to the location.
All right. Tell us, please, what you observed when you arrived at that location.
So we were one of the last officers there because there's 2 different teams on the special response team. There's a reactive team, the first guys that have take-homes, and they go directly to the scene.
Take-home vehicles?
Correct.
Okay.
And then the second set of the team, which I'm on, they go to the base and get all the equipment, and then they go to the scene. So we were probably one of the last officers that arrived to the scene at the time.
Okay. So when you arrived there, can you give us a number or approximately how many other law enforcement personnel you observed?
So I can't give you a hard number, but I can tell you when we pulled up in the armor, it was packed. Like I've been to a lot of stuff, right? The
Don
street was,
Burke.
like I didn't even know what I was
Family
honestly
hug.
about when we did that. When we pulled up in that small Bearcat. I was
Thank
like,
you, Don.
all right, I guess we're doing this. And there was tons of officers. The street was packed. It was busy.
Now, tons of officers, are we talking about just Detroit or other departments as well?
I couldn't, like, once I got in the building, I could tell you more, but pulling up, I just seen a lot of cop cars.
Okay. So it's when you arrived, you made that observation. Did you meet with other team members?
Yeah.
Okay. And what happens next?
So I got off the Bearcat, I grabbed the Halligan, which is like a pry bar, So we're taught that you have to grab your Halligan and a ram because you never know what you're going into.
Can you describe what those two things are?
Yeah, so your Halligan, it's gonna
Thank you
have
so
like
much,
a
Jolene.
sharp point on it and like
So
rabbit tails
sweet.
on the end of it. It's like a
So
bar.
nice. Thank you, Jolene.
But it's this big.
Were you talking about 3 feet long or so?
I would
Oh,
say,
by the way,
yeah.
hey,
Okay.
Rachel.
Then you
I
have
can't
your
see my
ram.
text,
I'm
my
using
tweets,
maritime ram,
or
so
my
it's probably about
chats.
like about this big. It's like 35 pounds, and it has a block on it. About that big.
I knew I'd get
Okay,
there
just so we
eventually.
have a little bit of idea, making a record here. About a foot and a half long, or
2 feet, safe to say.
okay.
Yeah.
And you said there's an end on it,
A square end, yeah.
a square end, and that's what, 6 inches diameter.
Yeah, I would say safe to say, yeah.
Okay. And what is that made out of? If you know?
It's enough to break the door down. So
Okay.
it's steel.
Okay. And you said it's about 35 pounds.
Yes.
All right.
This kid reminds
So
me of
you
my
grab those
son,
two
Ryan.
tools, and then what happens?
But yeah, this
I
kid's
grabbed
like
the Halligan.
25,
So
26.
It'd be too much to carry your rifle, all your equipment, a ram, and helo. So I grabbed the Halligan. I came off the Bearcat, and then I made entry to the door. It was like a smaller door. I remember coming in and then like going left. But when I got in, there was like a lot of officers there. My team members there, guys in jeans with like police vests on, like a marshal. There was a lot.
I got to flay, yeah.
I'll
Ejac
show you
was
what's
hard in the stomach.
306. Is that?
Thank you so
photograph
much,
right,
man.
sir? Okay. And do you recognize what's in this photograph?
Yes, sir.
And tell me what this is, please.
That's the scene where we responded to.
Okay. And is that photograph fairly accurately depict what that building was on the evening or the night of December the 3rd, 2021?
Oh yeah, it was. I mean, to me, you gotta think I'm coming in at 1 a.m. Dark time with the warehouse.
Okay.
That's what I remember there.
And here's 307. Is this the same building, just different view?
Yeah, that looks like the door I walked in. See how it's like a smaller door?
The
the left of the picture
snozberries
here?
Yeah, to the
taste
left.
like
Right
snozberries.
there, yeah.
Okay.
That's what I recall walking into a door similar to that.
Okay. And tell us again what you encountered when you went in that door.
So I
Jay,
came
can you
in,
name that
and
movie?
I went and left.
Give me that
And when I
movie,
came in,
Jay.
I remember I had my team members here.
I
Which our team
know
members
guess
are
Willy
very,
Wonka.
like,
I don't.
distinctive. Like,
Nailed
they
it.
all wear black.
All right.
Nailed it.
And you have your SRT patch on, and you have your, Kevlar helmet on. We're very distinct. And then you have other officers like patrol or, unmarked officers. So I knew who I was.
Real, it's been a long time since I saw
Okay, so you have
Panther
one
5.
standard uniform, SRT guys.
Yeah.
Okay, and you mentioned earlier individuals with jeans and vests that say police or.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so when you walked in at that point, could you give us an idea of how many long?
Good job, Lee and ATS.
There's a lot.
Nailed it.
A lot is in more than 10?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
more than 20?
Safe to say there was, I would say, 20, if not more.
Okay. And this building here, depicted in People's Exhibit 307, there's multiple floors?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay. So when you walked in, you mentioned you rendezvous with your team. Tell us what happens next.
So we moved, I met up with my sergeant, and they told us that what we're gonna do, we're gonna start moving through this building. We're gonna be looking for these fugitives. So SRT will clear, the first level, second level, third level, and move on up. So once we got in there, I remember coming in. There was a hallway to the right, there was a hallway to the left, and then it kind of went like this. And there was like 2 bathrooms on the side here.
Okay. So did Detroit police have one specific assignment then?
Detroit police.
The
SRT.
SRT, yes.
Yes, at that time, correct.
Okay. So tell us what happened going through this initial assignment.
So we were looking for 2 fugitives. We started on the first level, and we started breaking down doors.
Okay. Let me pause you right there. Breaching or breaking down doors. Tell us, please, what that entails.
So you're using that ram that I kind of explained, right?
God.
It's usually
Really?
one of the bigger guys on the team. It's a specific form. It's the way you swing back, and you're using a ram specifically to bypass the lock on a door. So you're pushing it in with the force.
Okay. Did you use this tool on one door or multiple doors on the first floor?
I would call us using it on multiple. I would say not more than 3, but I would say
All the doors.
2 to 3.
Okay. And that's on the first floor. What about on the second or third floors?
So I remember before we even got there, we had K9 down there too with us.
K9 is in police dogs?
Correct.
Okay.
From there, somebody notified our team that 2 fugitives may be possibly on the second floor, and they never came down. So we went upstairs. When we got upstairs, there was another SWAT team. It wasn't. I'm not sure what SWAT team it was. It could have been a federal SWAT team.
It wasn't Detroit though.
No, it was not.
Okay.
So we got up there. They told us that there was locked doors but they cleared the open doors at that time. So sooner or later, our team got a hold of a ring, like full of keys. And I'm talking like, it was a ring, like 100 keys. And there you go. Well, these are the keys to this building. Use it, so stop breaking down our doors. So we started unlocking doors on the second story, clearing it out. And,
Okay. That's on the second floor?
Correct.
Okay, but that's after doors were already breached on the first floor?
Correct.
Okay. This is Exhibit 309, just to confirm, this is the same building, 1111 Bellevue in Detroit, just from a different view?
Correct. Yes,
Okay, correct. Okay, thank you. Now, after you obtained, or your team obtained that ring of keys on the second floor, did you obtain information that the wanted fugitives could be somewhere in the building?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and do you recall where that was?
So we were notified, at least I was notified, that the fugitives may be downstairs in a particular room. So our team went back downstairs to the particular room and we lined up. And
Okay, particular room, was it Suite 130?
I would say it's safe to say.
Okay, so that would be on the first floor. Prior to that information being obtained by your team, that door was not breached, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, were doors around that suite breached?
Yes, sir.
Okay, is that a loud process or a quiet one?
It's gonna be loud.
Okay, and that's because you described the 35-pound RAM and what it's used for?
Yeah, you're breaking down. Yeah, you're slamming a door.
Now, on this particular evening, December 3rd, 2021, well, first of all, let me ask you, do you recall the approximate time that you entered Suite 130 at this location?
I don't know the exact, it was late. I know it was late. I know we were clearing probably for at least 40 minutes before we got there.
Okay, and that's your particular team clearing for 40 minutes?
Yes, sir. I'm
Okay.
saying me specifically with my team.
Okay, thank you. Were you equipped with body worn camera?
Yes, sir.
Innocent? Okay. And if we had a date and time stamp from that body worn camera, would that tell us specifically when it occurred?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to show you what's been admitted as people's 304. This is body worn camera. Just to confirm here, we have a date of December 4th, 2021. Okay.
On your stomach. You sit up. Stay. Wait. Ma'am, don't focus. I got her hands. Do not move. So you're told to, okay? Do you have any weapons? Wait. Is she cuffed over there? Good. All right. Just go ahead. On the bed. Okay. Hey, come on. I'm 14. Secondary. Secondary.
That's a rough way to get woken up, Jay.
You're not kidding, man.
Aw. Rise and shine, motherfuckers.
This is still out. We have double sexual weapons. We're not, this is still right. We got them.
Starting to stop right there. What was the purpose in looking in that specific area?
So, SRT will clear out, make sure there's no weapons, or if there is weapons.
Yeah, weapons, man.
Before like detectives or, patrol will come in.
So SRT's responsibility would be, in this situation, would be to find and make secure the fugitives, but not to search the location?
Correct.
Okay.
I can't do it. Here, bro. Well, never mind. Hey, Woody. Here you go. Just step on the back, push it down. Put your hands together like a friend. Hands back together like your friend. Double eyebrows. Now it's in your pocket. No, I can't see that. That's right. You sure, Drew?
Yeah, that's what I was saying, Sarah. That's one hell of a way to get woken up. Yeah, I keep forgetting that your chat can't see. My prediction was 26 on his age. Bet you I nailed it. 26 on the dot.
The search of the male fugitives person, that's for weapons. This is where I found.
Much like Donna and Harvey Adelson, this will probably be the last moment these two will would ever share together at this, this point. We're never going to see each other again.
Zannied out.
Yep.
Irene, can you send some of the eggs with chipotle and cheese my way, please? Thank you. Jay, this short witness, not so short.
It's never. I always say never trust a lawyer's time frame when they tell you it's going to be a
Judge
short.
would be
amount
like,
of time.
man,
Never
I'm like I'm ready to eat, y'all.
Yeah, now the jury's food is getting cold. They got ordered something.
I mean, thanks, Irene. Send it via DoorDash. Mandy.
Just pause it for a second. At
Where you
1:42
been, girl?
a.m.
You
22
late.
seconds. This is the hallway right outside of the suite where they were found in that location?
Yes, sir.
Okay, does this give an idea of the number of law enforcement personnel outside of that suite at that time?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Ross?
Yes, Ron.
Oh, what are you
me
going to ask
veto.
him?
You know, stuff, Jay.
Good afternoon.
Stuff.
Yeah.
How old are you, sir?
Sir,
Did
what
you
is your
graduate
age?
Your role with
Jay and
the
Bob's
Detroit
cat
Special
needs to know.
Response Team, one of the things that you do is fugitive apprehension.
Yes, ma'am.
Fugitive apprehension is typically when there's a person who is not coming in to address allegations or charges against them, correct?
I would say that's correct.
Usually,
Yes, like your
fugitive
client, man.
apprehension is you get involved when it, and correct me if I'm wrong,
Okay.
if it becomes clear that that person is not going to come in on their own.
I'm just going to object to the form of the question, Judge. He's testified that he gets notified of when to report to base. He's given an assignment, and he does the assignment.
Yeah, are you the one who decides that?
No.
In fact, you receive information from your supervisors,
Yes, ma'am.
and you have no knowledge of the truth to the information that you receive. Truth or inaccuracy, either way.
Man, I believe my supervisor's not to lie to me, so I'm listening to the order.
So you get a phone call and you go to the station.
Yes, ma'am.
You testified that there were, I think you said, tons of officers at 1111 Bellevue on December 4th of 2021.
Yes, sir. Yep. December 4th. Yes, ma'am.
You knew that there was a shooting at Oxford High School on November 30th of 2021?
Yes, ma'am.
You had seen media coverage about it?
Yes, ma'am.
You were aware of it?
I believe so, yes.
Were you also aware that James and Jennifer Crumbley had been charged in connection with the shooting on November 30th?
I can't say I remember or not.
Okay. You don't specifically recall seeing that they were charged?
Is that a no?
No.
Thank you, Your Honor. Exhibit 306 was a photo of the exterior of 1111 Bellevue. Your testimony was that you remembered it as a warehouse.
Yes, ma'am.
You learned that it was actually a building that had multiple businesses in it, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You knew who you were looking for in 1111 Bellevue that night?
Yes, ma'am.
You had been given photographs,
I believe so.
descriptions.
I believe so.
You knew that they were the parents of the Oxford High School shooter?
Yes, ma'am.
And you received that information from your supervisors or from the other officers when you arrived on scene?
Man, I would say it's safe to see our supervisors.
Because the reason I asked that is because you testified that when you pulled up onto Bellevue, you didn't know what you were there for. So I wanted to clarify that before you entered 1111 Bellevue, you were given information about why you were entering
I knew I was going for a fugitive apprehension.
and who it was.
No, at the time I made entry, we found out pretty much who it was, I would say.
Okay. Entry into the building?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
What a nice
You
young
testified
man.
that you received information while you were inside of Bellevue that the individuals may be on the second floor and may not have come down. Do you remember that testimony?
Yes, ma'am.
That was not true, correct?
Yes. Yes.
You learned that that was not true.
Yes.
The video from your body-worn camera, which starts at 1:34 a.m. and 20 seconds on the timestamp, or it looks like 18 seconds on the timestamp, it's quiet when your video starts, correct?
Correct.
You can hear
Yes, sir.
like a little bit of your movement with your equipment and stuff, but otherwise, you don't hear yelling, you don't hear any other sounds, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You would agree with that?
Yes, ma'am.
You
Easy,
recall when
Rachel.
you entered the unit, obviously it was dark.
Yeah, didn't leave it.
You don't recall seeing police lights in the windows of the room, if you recall?
Yeah, ma'am, I wasn't paying attention to that.
You were looking at the people that were on the bed, right?
Yes.
In the middle of the room.
Yes, ma'am.
In fact, when you entered the unit, when you and your team entered the unit, James and Jennifer Crumbley were laying on a mattress in the middle of the room, which we saw.
Yes.
James was laying on his side, if you recall. If you recall.
I mean, it appears to be in the video.
They weren't covered with boxes or anything like that, correct?
No.
There was I think Jennifer Crumbley had a blanket on, otherwise James was completely uncovered.
It's
He slowly rolled over as you all were giving him commands, correct?
It looks like that. I think I was paying more attention to Jennifer.
Okay.
So
You don't recall him doing anything that would cause you all to be concerned. He didn't jump up, he didn't start to run, he didn't become combative. None of that happened from what you recall.
No, there were 20 of us in there.
I would say
with
he did none of
guns
that.
trained
But
on
as
him.
far as our team goes,
He's not an
we're
idiot.
trying to take every caution as it is. We treat every person the same. We come up high, and then their reaction is how we go.
And safe to say, when SRT gets involved, it's typically, and you talked about high risk, dangerous. So you're going into these scenarios already at a heightened level of concern or security or awareness. Is that fair?
Yes, sir.
You don't walk into the situation without
You just
all
call
of your
her, sir.
uniform on and your equipment and everything
Yes,
else
sir.
thinking, oh, this is no big deal.
No, we don't do that.
Because when your unit gets involved, typically it gets involved in situations that are serious.
Correct.
And you guys are given information about situations that are serious.
Correct.
You guys meaning your unit.
Yes, ma'am.
Donnie, I did not get the new Corey Feldman
You can hear
box
yelling
set.
if you recall. You hear yelling on the video, and if you know, you later learn that that was James Crumbley.
Okay.
He wasn't yelling at officers.
Okay. Yes,
You-
ma'am.
you
Yeah,
recall
he
that?
didn't- Yeah, it didn't seem to be yelling at us.
Okay. He was just making
I'm
sounds.
pretty
It sounded almost, and
sure
if
he
you know,
called her
if
sir.
you agree, it sounded almost like he was in pain.
Safe to say.
And again, the mattress was in the middle of the room. James and Jennifer Crumbley were on it.
Yes, ma'am.
They weren't hiding in a corner.
No.
They weren't hiding behind any of the raised countertops that were in there.
Nope.
They weren't hiding behind any of the paintings that were in there. They weren't covering themselves with blankets. If you recall, your unit received information that James and Jennifer Crumbley may have a weapon with them.
Yeah, so, ma'am, I can't. I don't recall. We just treat every person that we're going after as if they're possible to use a weapon.
Now you all searched that unit and you
She
did not
gets the
find
lead
any
on
weapons.
cross, Irene.
And you searched
call
both
this
James and Jennifer
leading the
Crumbley, and there
witness.
was nothing found on them either.
Somebody did. I didn't get somebody.
Somebody searched them.
Correct.
Okay. And we talked
Shelley,
about this
I
a little
can
bit at
see
the
your-
beginning. It's
I
not
can
your
see
job to
your
verify whether or not the information
chats.
that you've
I just
received
can't
is accurate,
answer.
correct?
Correct.
Your job is to get the call, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You go to the base,
Correct.
you get your equipment on, you load into whatever vehicle you're taking, and you go to the scene that you've been called to.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, when the investigations are being done by your own department, you tend to have a little more information at the beginning. Is that fair?
Me myself.
Your unit.
So yes, ma'am. I would say normally during times that we get called out, it starts high and then it comes to us. If that makes sense.
High in the rankings.
Yes.
So it would go to your supervisor or their supervisor and it gets filtered down to you.
Yes, ma'am.
And if you recall, at around 6 minutes and 40 seconds on the video, I don't remember what the timestamp was, you can hear James Crumbley say we were leaving at 7 in the morning. Do you remember hearing that in the video?
I'm going to check that, Judge. There's been any testimony of that, nor has there been any indication that happened.
It's on the video, Your Honor.
But then I think the video should speak for itself for the jury to make the determination.
Oh, she can ask a question.
You see the evidence on the video, right?
Bullshit.
Do you recall hearing that on the video?
Man, we can run it back. But, no.
I can put it there. It's at 6:24.
Oh yeah, we were turning ourselves in at 7 in the morning.
Yes, Your Honor.
You guys jumped the gun a bit.
That audio's working.
Yeah, he said it.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Who cares?
Right. Who gives a shit? Yeah, Jessica, I think she's an effective attorney. She's a loud talker and fast, but she knows her shit.
Oh, I don't know. Can you hear it from this?
Yeah.
We
so
heard it.
This is the second time
We
I've
heard it.
watched the video, so, yeah.
Again, this witness can't interpret what he thinks somebody else may have heard. His camera
Oh,
obviously
Jesus.
was 3 people
Who
away
cares?
from where James Crumbley's in the video. The video would speak for itself.
It does, she has to convert it.
And he asked me to play the video back, Your Honor.
He said, if you want to play it back, go ahead.
Oh, my
In
God.
response to a question of, did you hear that?
Okay, so did you hear it?
She could be shouty because her client is hard of hearing, though.
I have no further questions. Your Honor.
Oh, thank God. See, we can't complain about her being loud because we have no problem hearing her, right?
I can't. I don't recall. I
In
would
order
say-
for the fugitive arrest to occur, you need active arrest warrants.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And why would you be quiet right before you entered suite 130?
So that's a form of a tactic. So we're trying to do. If you can see, we use keys, correct?
Yes.
You can have 2 options. We could ram the door, throw a flashbang in, and cause diversion area, or you can come in and be quiet. It would be a shock effect that way. So our supervisors made the decision to use the keys, unlock it, and use it as a surprise effect.
So everyone being quiet in the hallway, that was intentional as a tactic before you entered this particular suite.
Yeah.
Now the using the RAM, that wasn't a quiet tactic, was it?
No.
Okay, so the noise level that would have been depicted before those doors
Shock
were
and awe.
around this
Shock and awe.
suite here would have been much different.
Yes.
Thank you.
Briefly, Your Honor.
Don't ask a question. Oh, my God.
You have no knowledge of your own
Jinx.
whether or not James
Jinx,
Crumbley
you owe me
heard
a Coke.
anything that was going on outside of that suite, correct?
No.
Thank you. No further questions. Your Honor.
All right. We're taking a lunch break. Yeah, right, Viv. This witness could take like 5 minutes, Judge. 5 minutes. 1 hour later.
Don't discuss the case with anyone, don't research anything, don't look at any media, don't go on Facebook. You know the drill, right? Okay, we'll see you back. Who's the next witness? Who's the next witness?
We were
Oh, man. Wait, no lunch? What's going on, Jay?
I'm
Do they hate
curious.
lunch in Michigan?
No. What do you mean?
I don't know. They're talking about the next witness and shit, dude.
No.
Isn't
They're
it
going to
lunchtime?
1:30, but they're going to 1:30. But I
Oh.
think the judge asked like,
They're
"Who's
gonna-
the next witness?" And he's like, "Can we approach?" I wonder if that means they're close to
Wrapping it?
resting or.
Wow. All
So
right.
let's
Hey,
wait and
Diz, did they put the math test into evidence? Like, I'm dying to know that. Like, they had to have. That would be insane if they didn't put the math test into evidence. Yeah, I like that young cop. He reminds me of my son a lot. Young Brian. Except he's a firefighter.
By the way, folks, when we end for lunch and come back in an hour, I'm going to portal you to Publicly Buzzed. If you like me and Bob's channel, you will love Publicly Buzzed. At Publicly Buzzed, I'm going to share the link in mine, and I'm sure the mods can share it in Bob's too. Make sure you give them a subscribe to them if you're not already.
100%. Those are our boys.
And
Steve
Steve's doing a show tonight on a case where this streamer, I don't know what year it was, but he streams. I think he streams a woman dying. Wild Russian story. Steve's in the chat. I think he streams his girlfriend dying or something. It's a wild story. So make sure.
Trigger
2020.
warning.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like what do they call that shit? Like where like people film killing other
snuff
people.
film?
Snuff film. Thank you, Jay. It's knucking
Steve says-
futs. It's knucking futs.
Guys, I'm just waiting to see if they say anything about the scheduling, if they're almost done to resting, or otherwise we'll just end for lunch. 1:30 Eastern is when they'll be back, which is in 1 hour. But there seems like they're having a talk here. So I wonder if they're kind of scheduling some last minute things. 'Cause like I said last week, folks, they said they could be possibly to the jury by tomorrow. Like, so
Wow.
we shall see.
That's crazy. Yeah, and
Or Thursday.
sometimes you can have scheduling issues with witnesses.
Right.
That arise kind of out of the blue. Somebody gets held up or gets sick, and then you've got to try to pivot. So a lot of times, like this is housekeeping stuff, I'm sure, up there.
And I wonder, like you said, Bob, what hasn't the state done to prove their case? Like, I'm curious what else they need to present
I
at this
missed
point.
Friday. So, we got the element of proof of life, proof of death. Do you all feel like they did enough? Like, if you can, remove the thought that his wife has already been convicted. Try to remove everything that you know about the case prior to the trial. And did the state meet the burden that this guy knew or should have known? That it was foreseeable. So I mean, that's why I'm asking about the math test, because they didn't have a lot of the stuff that they had with, Jennifer, in terms of like her just being so preoccupied with her own shit, the horses, the affair, just not paying any attention to the kid. Like this dude, I mean, he's got like, and again, to me, it's going to boil down to that math test, but I think it was Dizzy saying that, he didn't see the math test, I guess, until he got probably into the office, and for me, that math test is everything in this case. It's like, you just can't overcome it.
This is a pretty
I have a-
lengthy. Penny says hi, everyone. Penny.
Why are you trying to crush your dog's spirit, Jay? Let her bark.
My dog.
Let her bark.
Likely, there's an Amazon driver, is my guess.
Yeah, that's what my dog does. Whenever he sees something out the window, he gets all hysterical. I'm like, dude, calm down. Like, but I want to lick that guy's face.
Exactly. Same with my dog. Like, my dog acts like she's a tough guy, but if this person came close, she would be asking for pets.
Could everyone remain seated while the penalties court?
We got some secrets. We got some whispering. What's going on? I wonder if they're asking him if they're going to be done, if he's going to testify.
Wait, Donnie blocked Mandy? Donnie. Gotta unblock Mandy, bro. It's my girl, man. Did Donnie go on a blocking? Was he blocking people left and right? Where was I? Must have been on vacation.
Yeah, when
he said no, a rumor.
All right, I guess they're not going to address what just. So I guess we'll find out after lunch. But I gotta believe, right, Bob? They got to be talking about some sort of final scheduling with the defense. Like, why would they be talking?
It has
like
to
that?
be. It has to be. Yeah, like so. If the state's saying that they're resting, and then the defense is going to say, well, we have X amount of witnesses, and we weren't anticipating that, the state would be resting today. So we don't have two of our witnesses here, whatever. I mean, it's always something like that. And obviously, the judge probably inquired as to whether or not the defendant's going to testify. So, and ultimately that's his decision. And, that's usually a game time decision, like, to be honest with you, it's like we often, we'll talk about it kind of ad nauseum going into trial. And then, but you always say, all right, well, we'll see how the state's case in chief went to, determine whether or not we think it's incumbent upon you to testify. So, In this case, I think he's going to have to testify. I imagine that she watched Jennifer's trial pretty closely and saw some of the issues in Jennifer's testimony, and namely that question that we were talking about yesterday. Would you have done anything different? And Jennifer's response was no, I wouldn't do anything different. Which it does play both ways. It's like when you first hear it, you're like, ooh, that's like a bad look. But if she would have admitted, yeah, I would have done something differently, it's kind of an admission, right?
Yeah, she admitted something
saying,
wrong.
Yeah, you're right. I should have been paying attention to my kid. Yeah, I would have paid more attention to my child. I would have pulled my kid out of the office when I saw the math test. All the shit that she should have done. So it's a tough question. Like I would imagine she would avoid that question like the plague. But the state obviously has the opportunity to ask it on cross. And they know
Right.
it's a tough question. It's almost an impossible question to answer. I think the answer would be, well, in retrospect, yes. In the moment, no. Like, I just wasn't, I wasn't feeling it. I didn't know that there was anything like that. Like I never thought in a million years my kid would be capable of doing that, that type of shit. But
Which
until you
actually
see
was
a
an
test that says help me, I can't stop the thoughts. Like I never thought he
Right.
was capable until I saw that math test, and then I knew.
Yeah, and then I also remembered that I bought him fucking guns and took him to the range, etc.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like that in retrospect is rough, but I mean, like that is a gun culture up there in Michigan, man. I mean, I live right below them, and the amount of militias up there is stunning. Like it really is it's a gun-toting state. We've got gun-toting states in this country, and Michigan certainly is one of them. I mean, like, look, dude, you see like the bizarre Instagram posts of senators with their entire family in front of
Christmas
Christmas
cards.
trees with like, AKs and shit. And I'm like, oh my God, be a cold day in hell when I send that Christmas card out. But that's me. That's my personal shit. I'm not, look, if the shit goes down, I'm going to be running, trying to find one of those people, be like, hey man, can I hang with you, bro? Saw
Bobby,
those
you're like,
guns you had in that picture.
Bobby, like I got the CB radio. I've been planning. I just need the guns. You guys take care of me, and I'll take care of you. I got the CB radio. I've been preparing
Exactly.
for AI to take over.
Exactly. I got the car that has no robots in it, no computers in it. Got the old school whip. I'm gonna I got you. I got a piece of land down in South Carolina. We'll fucking hide. Yeah, I got all that shit ready. But the guns, I'm lacking. I'm fucked if we need the guns at some point. I'm gonna have to find gun people. I'm gonna have to really get out. Oh, thanks, Steve. There you go. Just come to West Virginia, Bob. I love it. Nah, Steve, I'm coming to your crib, dude. I don't know what the hell you're talking about, bro. I'll be at Steve's crib. Dan will come over. We'll hunker down. I'll borrow some of Dan's glasses. They'll never recognize me. Like, who is that guy? All right. So did we determine Scott Peterson is Dizzy was saying it was just a status anyway, which is, that's not even interesting.
Yeah,
There's
there's
not
nothing
going to be
live,
anything
so.
substantive happening. All right, so let's take our lunch. Jay, make sure you send me the link.
Yep,
can
I'll send
join
it
up
over. I'll
for
set it up.
lunch.
All right, so guys, we'll be back in approximately a little less than an hour, 1:30 Eastern time. Check both our channels. We'll set up the stream, and thank you all for being here. Thanks for the super chats. Thanks for the likes and subscribes and shares. And we'll see you in
And we
1
love
hour.
you guys. Yeah, thank you so much. And just so you guys know, for those of us in my chat and vice versa, Jay and I were not ignoring you. We just didn't realize that hey, you guys couldn't see our responses in each other's chat. So I was responding to y'all in Jay's chat, and Jay was doing the same in our chat. We just didn't realize it until after the fact, which is really why I started talking, Carol, because I just wanted to acknowledge people that were saying hi and didn't want to be rude. So, all right. Love y'all. See you after lunch.
I love you guys. See ya.
See ya.